All right, y'all. Welcome to All Politics are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Y'all know if it's Friday, y'all know it's time for All Politics or Local. But more importantly, y'all know if it is the fourth Friday, y'all know it's time for the disciples. So tonight, we obviously are going to have a somewhat very serious and somewhat solemn conversation on the disciples tonight. But excuse me. But when they get here, obviously we'll let them pick it up from there and carry it on, and we'll be there to support them as much as we can. Um, but of course, we're going to have a number of other things going on as well as the disciples. So after they come on at 6 o'clock, we'll have some other folks. And what's going to happen at 7, Zaid?
Lots going to happen. Sonia Massey, Illinois to Newark to New York. There's Sonia Massey stories all over the country, but we're going to lift up that young woman and the tragedy that befell her in the streets this Sunday in Newark as a part of a national day of mourning of rallies and vigils all over the country. A call made from our folks from Until Freedom and our little sister Tamika Mallory. But we've got a case that has a lot of similarities that we're going to talk about today. Shernaleria Eccles, who lost her son, Antonio Casseem Armstrong, at the hands of the New York police under some very shaky circumstances. And this the fight for some kind of truthful representation and accountability has been as horrible for her as it has been for folks like Sister Massey's family, right? So we're going to talk to this young queen about what happened to her son and relate that to the Sonia Massey story as a local expression of Sonia Massey's stories as a consequence of the scourge of police brutality. She'll be joined by none other than the Lawrence Ham, old school heads call him Adimu Chunga, because we're all co-leading this rally on Sunday. Just behind that at 7:30, I've got two voices from outer New York, New Jersey. It's a strong Palestinian coalition, intergenerational, racial and multiracial. We have Tova Fry, who's a veteran, even more veteran than me, who's involved in an action that's coming up on Monday in Elizabeth. And of course, we're going to lift up everything that happened in Washington when Netanyahu was embraced by Congress instead of being, locked up for the war that he is, and how all those protests and all those views that are not heard in the media, even the slants around Kamala Harris, need to be taken apart. So Tova will join us along with Maya Sikan from Al-Ada, New York and in New Jersey. So that's those. We got some powerful stuff just within that 7 o'clock hour.
And then, of course, after that, I think at 8 o'clock, we're going to have a retired NFL football player that's also going to join us.
He's been with us before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to have him back.
And we're going to talk about the 10th annual football cup camp at Weequahic High School. And so Marquis Lewis is going to talk about the stars who come back to the city of Newark to give back to our community. And then, of course, at 8:30, we're going to have DJ Rhino, who's going to give us the state of hip hop. Be interesting to sort of hear from them as to what they think about is going on as well as it relates to what's happening with Sonia Massey. So it'd be interesting to have them on. I saw Balena Ali in the back. She must have got disconnected so we could get the disciples started. So I don't see her, but I think she's coming back in. So as soon as she comes in, okay, she's back. We'll get her in. So we want to welcome Balena Ali back. I don't see her other co-hosts, but of course, Balena Ali is one of the 1/3 of the disciples. So welcome, Sister Balena Ali. How's everything, sis?
Good evening, family. Good evening, good evening. Everything is really good. When I heard about Sister Massey, it really disturbed me because, as y'all know, I was with my husband for 16 years. So when he passed away, I went to stay with my daughter for 60 days because they had to get my house together. We're putting security on my house. And after seeing what that lady went through, I mean, it really kind of shook me. But I thank God that I put the extra cameras I put in my house and around my house.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You know that, and for that to have affected you in that way, and yes, you know,
it really did.
You know, to think about having cameras, not necessarily to protect you, but even to protect you from police. Ain't that something?
Yes. Yes.
Who
Yes.
who would have thought? Who would have thought in 2024? But Zaid, I'm going to bring up something that you're going to remember, and you may remember too, Ali, as well as you, Bashir. But I'm old enough, right? And Zaid, so are you. We're old enough to remember the name. Get this, Eleanor Bumpers,
Oh God, yes.
right?
God, yes.
And Eleanor Bumpers started the careers of a lot of the people that people know as political leaders. Right?
No, who you talking about? Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
Yeah. We don't have to call any names, but all of those people, right, started their careers because of someone named Eleanor Bumpers. Let me just give some background as to what we're talking about. Right, the name Eleanor Bumpers entered the sad pantheon of New York City tragedies on October 29th, 1994. Bumpers was a 66-year-old black public housing tenant facing eviction for withholding rent over what she said was New York City's housing authority failure to address her repair request. Confronted by cops who broke into her apartment in the Shadwick houses in the Bronx. She allegedly swung a kitchen knife at them and they killed her. Now get this, not with a handgun, but with a
Shotgun.
shotgun.
I remember it well.
Right?
Blew her hand off first, and
Yeah,
then shot her square in the chest.
yeah. And
66-year-old grandmother.
right. And a wave of outrage erupted, right? How could the cops and New York City Housing Authority have bungled the situation so badly? They asked that question. And so that's what I'm reminded of in this moment when we talk about
Good
Sonia,
list. This is good list, Ed. Good list.
right? I'm reminded of that, right? So this is, we have history of police officers coming into, and get this now, into our women and our grandmothers and our mothers'
Yes.
houses and killing them,
That's
right?
right.
So this is not something that's a one-off, right? This has happened in our history as Black folks, and it's happened in our lifetime, right? So that's what I think about when I hear about this. But I also see Reverend Roundtree, the other 1/3 of the disciples. So let me go ahead and give this over to Reverend Roundtree, and we'll be there to support y'all as much as we can with this conversation. But Roundtree, welcome to the disciples.
Muted.
I think you're on mute.
Peace, family, Hotep.
Hotep.
Assalamu alaikum, and great praise be unto you from God our Father. Christian, Muslim, whatever your nationality, race, gender, color, don't matter. We are all part of humanity. Listening to you all who've already entered into a conversation, I'm excited to be on our Politics Local once again. We've been on many years thanks to Brother Ed and Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad, whose vision for the disciples happened many years ago. We're coming up on a season where we need to celebrate, because in spite of the fact that, we will all crowd around conversations that affect our community, but when things are going good, we can hear crickets. So that's something we have to really get better at doing, coming together for the sake. Look at my office. Lord have mercy. I got to change this camera. Y'all can see everything. Somebody left some Dunkin' Donuts, books all over the place for me reading. And that's because,
okay.
let me be real clear. I heard the woman's father. And y'all entered Lady Balena Ali, the other fragrance, council president, calls me. We call each other the fragrance because that's what we tell first ladies in the churches. They're the fragrance of that, the houses of worship and so forth. So Lady Ali, first lady of this generation, helpmate, partner, ride and everything that she could be to my brother, Pastor Brian R. Ali. It's an honor for us to be here. Bashir, Zaid, Brother Ed. Y'all were talking about our beloved sister and what took place. And you know what stood out the most to me? That she recognized the demon before she got shot.
Teach.
Amen.
That's right.
I
That's
share.
right.
Amen.
She knew something. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
She saw something and knew
Right.
something wasn't going to end well.
Yep.
And she tried to jump ahead of it when she said, I rebuke my Lord. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
A mother of 2 teenage children, siblings, if you could have heard the father explaining the scenario of what really took, I guess y'all know up to date on everything that took place, you know, that initially, you know, it wasn't even that she was shot by an officer, that she was pounding her apartment, and, you know, then it works all the way up to the fact where the other guy, other officer wanted to call for help, and this guy, which has been in four precincts, I'm like, where are we mentally that we just keep putting people in the wrong places and know in advance before we put them there? Are we like setting ourselves up? Are people setting us up for these type of things? I mean, this is so unbelievable. How is it that you already been reprimanded and shifted all over the place? That's like putting somebody in a hospital that has the worst bedside manner as a doctor. And Pastor Lady Ali can attest to that, because we've had to step to some people just because of the way they talk to you. Yeah. Never mind how they treat you when your family's not around or things of that nature. There's one thing I used to say in the defense of public safety is that they wear a badge with their name on it. When you walk up on them, they don't know who you are, where you came from, if you're crazy, if whatever the case might be. But that still does not identify their mental state just because we got a name and a badge. And it's so unfortunate that this sister had to go out that way. Listen, I thank God for who I am in God, because the other side of me, which would probably be a message from the dark side, would be, it's a shame the water didn't, you know, I'm just like trying not to go there with just boiling water. Trying not to go there, Brother Ed. I mean, you know, try not to go there, Lady Ali, that this water.
But sometimes you have to.
That was on the stove boiling did not make its way in another. I'm just, Lord, help me and forgive me, because even if I don't say it, God knows I'm thinking it, and that's just as bad as saying it. And people don't understand that. So a man thinketh, so is he. I don't want to be that man that think bad things on people, because I don't want nothing bad coming on me. So I don't think it, but God knows that I want the mercy for this woman and the father and the children. She got a child 17 and 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you call somebody because you think you got a problem and you end up dead. Make you like wonder, like, you know.
It's so funny.
We also have to think about the surroundings and the location and the person that was dealing with this. But listen, you know, and I don't want to take nothing from our people that serve and protect. But these these cases like this. They're just, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm a mother. I got a son. I got a granddaughter. I got a whole community of young men and young women. They call me auntie and mom and all of that. I would not want to leave here that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would not want y'all to be mourning me talking about protesting because somebody who lost their mind or didn't have one to begin with killed or took my life.
Mm-hmm.
I know Bobby got
Teach.
good words. I'm a yield and Lady Ali and I know Brother DeLacy coming on and did Keisha get the message? Did she get the link?
I did reach out to DeLacy.
No, Keisha said she was coming on, but you didn't send her the link?
I didn't send it to her. I didn't
Okay, I'm
know.
gonna send it to her.
Okay, and DeLacy never responded back, so I'm not sure if he's going to come on at all. But Balena, so why don't you go ahead and share, your thoughts, as it relates
Well,
to.
like I said when I first started, when I first heard the story, I had to think about my husband because I stayed away from my house for 60 days until they got my house together, and they had to put security cameras all around because I was the only one there at the time. And when I got in the house, I kept on tripping my own alarm. But thank God they had two of the nicest, I call them 21 Jump Street. And my security system knew that my husband took care of the security system because I kept tripping this alarm and couldn't remember my passcode. So 3 days in a row, I had to open up my door. The first day I opened it up, they was knocking. I said, listen, I got to put some clothes on. So they was laughing. I said, for real, I got to put some clothes on. Come right now. They was like, Miss Ali, we just want to make sure you're okay. They had got the story about what happened to my husband, that I was there by myself. It was just amazing how these officers were so nice. I said, listen, I'm going to get this right. The next day they came back. The third day, they waited at the foot of the stairs, and they was like, Miss Ali, we just making sure you okay. We know you keep tripping it. We making sure we got to keep coming because we just making sure you okay. But when I saw that news, it really, really hit me that while my husband was here, I didn't need all this security. When I tell you all, I got 7 cameras within and around my house. I can see from the front, the back, the north, the south. And I'm not saying I got it because of what I just saw, but that's how I was feeling. Like, God, did I really need these cameras because something like this could happen to me? It shook me. It really shook me to the point that I normally walk every morning. I was up at 4 o'clock the next morning. I think I was up at my job at like 5:15, 5:30 walking because I was shook.
But I want to tell you that this is something bigger, right? And I was thinking to myself, Zaid and Bashir, I was thinking to myself, when I saw, what Tamika had wrote, and she was she used that term, protect Black women. And I thought about, because what I had said to Tamika and Rakia and Monifa Vandelli, I had talked to them about that quote by Malcolm when he said that Black women are some of the most unprotected women in this culture.
That's right.
They're the most unrespected women in this culture.
Leena put it on her page.
Yeah,
I did. I really did because I felt like that because my husband's not here, and I don't want my grandkids and my daughters, to have to do me the same way, have to mourn me because somebody did something psychotic. That. Yeah.
And that's what I was reminded of at that time, because I sort of felt, like as brothers and how I protect my wife. And so with that in mind, Bashir, I want to ask you, man, what led you, Bashir, and of course you one of the emeritus co-hosts and creators of All Politics and Local with myself. What led you, man, to say, you know what, I've got to step up and become a co-sponsor of this rap? What led you to that, my brother?
Oh man, let me first start off by coming in the spirit of our strong chants. You know, we know when we sound the drum in the African village, man, we come with strong chants like stop the shooting, stop the killing, stop the violence, peace in the streets, right? We say Black power, all power to the people. We say Hotep, right, which is an ancient African Egyptian Kemetic word for peace. Some scholars say it's the oldest written word for peace in human history. We say no justice, no peace, right? Um, you know, I was inspired. I was, moved to get out and co-organize the vigil of the National Day of Mourning in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, with uh, various organizations. Of course, our dear brother Larry Ham Muchunga, the chair of the state chair of the People's Progress and New Direction, the Anti-Violence Coalition, brother Dashan Farad and brother Mustafa Shakur, moved to do that because unfortunately the killing of our people by the hands of police is still going on. The struggle has not ended to stop police from killing Black people. All right. And if you look at the data, the statistics, man, Black people are still dying at an alarming rate at the hands of police. It's still going on. We got to keep the pressure on. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep moving, elected officials to pass police reform bills. Of course, on a federal level, we got to move elected officials. Hell, we got to move Kamala, you know, and the Congress to move the George Floyd reform bill. I mean, this is, you know, we have to do, and I know Baba Zai going to probably get deep into this at the 7 p.m. hour, but we have to put in place a system that will protect, right? Um, that's real talk, family.
Did he
That's
freeze?
talk. And that's why I went out. That's why I
He
went.
fell out.
Yes, that's why I
He's
went to
having
me.
connection issues.
Right.
You're just getting warmed up, Bashir. You got connection issues.
Oh, okay. Can you
But
hear me?
you were just getting good and warm, and you got jammed up on your connection. Rewind.
Oh man, that's the police. You got me. Can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh,
You going in and out.
Oh man, hey brother, that's the powers that be. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Powers that be, man. Every time, we're sounding the drum to our people, man. Somehow, some strange way, our communication gets disrupted.
That's true.
That's crazy. It always happens like that, man, But no, we got to keep the pressure on. We have to keep the pressure on. We have to continue to organize, as Kwame Ture said. And for our younger listeners who don't know who Kwame Ture is, he was one of the greatest organizers our community ever produced, right? His slave name was Stokely Carmichael, and he was a part of SNCC and the original Black Panther Party, and the Pan-African Revolutionary Party. Oh man, so many organizations, But he used to always say, organize, organize, organize. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. We got to continue to get out here, organize with our people, with our community, right? To fight against police brutality, but we also have to organize our people to put the pressure on elected officials to pass police reform bills that protect our people from being killed at the hands of police. That's real talk. That's why all roads lead Springfield Avenue and West Market Street, the old courthouse where the Lincoln Memorial statue, the Lincoln statue is. We're gonna march from the old courthouse down to Broader Market Street. We're gonna shut down Broader Market Street. We're gonna shut it down. We're gonna circle up and shut it down and speak to this issue. Well, first of all, we're gonna mourn our sister. We're gonna mourn our sister. And Baba Zai, we got to do libation strong. We got to do libation strong for this new ancestor now. You know, say her name, Sonia Massey. We gotta
So
send her
nice.
to the ancestor realm.
Yeah,
Strong libation, right? But we're gonna speak to the issue of police violence plaguing the black community, the African world community here in America and abroad, but particularly here in America. You know, it has not stopped. You know, and it's a
right.
good documentary. I encourage folks to to get this documentary called the FBI's War on Black America. In fact, it's on YouTube. You can YouTube it now. All
Yeah,
right.
that's Lights Geronimo.
Yes, brother.
Geronimo was still in prison.
Yes. You know,
Yeah.
it has not stopped. It has not stopped. So we're gonna, we organizing again. When Tamika made the call, big shout out to Tamika Mallory. Big shout out to Until Freedom Organization. You know, when they put the call out, when our queen put the call out, you know, I had to respond. I had to, get off my damn butt and start organizing, making calls, man, to get folk to come out, to commit themselves to our National Day of Mourning for our sister Sonia Massey, you know, but also to organize our people against the scourge of police brutality, police violence plaguing the black community here in America. Real talk. That's what it is, E. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
for me, man, I want to say that, I mean, and I think it's important, right, for the disciples for this reason. One is Roundtree and Balena is that I thought about something when that sister said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," right? What I thought about in that moment, for those of us who understand what that means, right? It has a larger connotation where we say, "Devil, get behind me," right? And at that very moment, you know, um, what my wife said is that when that was said to that devil police officer, it had invoked him so bad, right?
Yep.
It recognized in that moment that God was present, right? And that, yeah, he may have taken her life, but before he took her life, God took it first, right?
Yep.
Snatched her into heaven, right? Because at that very moment, this man was in a rage, right? And for me, looking at that, I felt impotent as a black man because I know that all my training says to me how we must stand up and be there for not only our mothers, our sisters, but our community sisters as well. And I
Yes.
and I felt like I couldn't do anything. And then I felt like a man of God, somebody who knows God and loves God, and to have heard those words come out of her mouth, and still she lost her life, right? That hurt tremendously. And so for me, Roundtree, what I would say is that if there's ever been a moment for the black church to stand up and be strong, it
Come
would be
on.
this
Come
Sunday at
on.
right? To come out and say that the presence of God needs to show up on
Mm.
on Sunday at 2 o'clock at this rally, right? And say that we're here representing God and saying to the world, right, that those words that were not uttered in vain, right? But her church family is here, and we're going to stand in solidarity and prayer, and we're going to let the whole world know, right, that this is not going to go unanswered.
Mm.
So
Come on.
I'm expecting for all of these leaders to be there on Sunday
Mm.
and to come out and say that those words had something to do, just as much power in those words as Kwame Ture's power in his words when he uttered Zaid Black Power.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yes.
Hey, Ed, I just wanted to give you a shout out too, because you made sure that all these connections were made,
That's right.
you know,
That's right.
so that we could do something in Newark, New Jersey. You know, so big shout out to you. E. Made a sure, brother. Big shout out to you for connecting a lot, many of us to the organizers around to Tamika Mallory and the organizers around Tamika Mallory and the organizers around the country. Big shout out to you. But brother, I'm not a Christian, but you're moving me, brother. I haven't forgot my Christian roots, brother. All right. I grew up in Bethlehem Baptist Church, on 4th Street, brother. Same
I
church
know
that
something about that church. I know something about that church.
Pastor Jackson, right?
That's right. There you
Reverend
go.
Jackson.
Now we got Fred Sullivan is there now. Very
Yes.
good man to carry on. I know the preachers now. Preachers, imams, rabbis, priests. Yeah.
Absolutely, Councilwoman.
Jackson was a good guy.
Absolutely, but that was my home church, Bethlehem Baptist Church, and before Reverend the late but great Reverend Jackson took over was Reverend Stephen C. Henderson, but yeah, brother, I'm hoping and praying that our Christian brothers and sisters are moved to come out in the streets with us 2:00 Sunday
I'll be there.
At the old courthouse where the Lincoln statue is, to march and rally against police brutality. But most importantly, we're gonna give honor. We're gonna honor our sister with this national day of mourning for our sister, our dear sister Sonia Massey, who is now an ancestor. And again, Baba Zai do an African cultural tradition. We're gonna do strong libations, and a strong libation for our sister, and of course we're gonna have our Christian brothers and sisters and other brothers and sisters of faith to make prayers for Sister Massey and her family.
Yep. Well, I see that, I know Larry Ham, is supposed to be on at 7, but I see him. And so we don't want to ignore our brother because, he's also one of the organizers of course, this day of mourning on Sunday.
Let me say this. Bashir and Zaid, compared to Larry Ham, I know y'all been around, and there's been a whole lot of front lines. But even though he the youngest in not younger than me, but I like to call him young because he started at 17, and I don't think he ever left 17 in age, but he sure left it in wisdom. He left it in the movement. He left it in the book. He left it in everything because with the
17 upside down now.
If you know his testimony, and all of you do, you know that the enemy tried to take him out on 3 or 4 occasions, and it wasn't by no police brutality. He laid up in the hospital when I was working for Cory Booker, and I was like, I know God ain't ready for him. I know Brother Robert Smith left here. I remember some of the guys from when I was a child. They used to be on Springfield Avenue at this place. They used to protect my mother and her businesses during that particular movement of the rebellion. But I'm so excited, and I sometimes get a little disturbed because I'm like, there's so many things we want for Larry, but Larry's going to get it on his own terms. He is not going to let the establishment tell him how he can get it. Now, he got his degree from Princeton, and he went to NJIT and dealt with corporate America. I'm not NJIT, New Jersey Transit, and he did all these things, right? He did all these things which brought him full circle, but he has not stopped speaking truth to power and speaking truth about power. Wake up, Zaid. He is not stopped speaking. Open your eyes before I pour something through this screen. Listen. Listen.
Look here, church. You can't be threatening nobody now.
Listen, Jesus wasn't no punk. Watch this. Jesus wasn't no punk. Jesus just came through the temple with the whip. He ain't saying nothing but get out of here doing wrong by these people. Ain't that right, Brother Ham? That's what he did. Don't y'all think he was no punk? While he was sleeping, they was on the boat, and they was like, "Come on, save us." He was like, "Well, Jesus, like he looking at these guys like, "We're you have little faith." You know what I'm saying? Like so. I believe it's standing on all those principles. I'm actually on a call with a group of folks right now regarding the election, but we got to be able to balance everything, First Lady Ali, Brother Zaid, Brother Bashir, while we fighting for this mother of 2 children who this nutcase that shouldn't have been in there with a gun in the first place.
Right.
Oh, that's my nutcase in the first place. Should not have even been with a gun.
Teach.
With a weapon.
Teach.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it because God's going to get me for thinking it. Maybe the water should have came off the stove.
No doubt.
But she was so busy trying to rebuke the demon. That was the God in her, even in the midst of her madness.
Oh, that's right. You can't make that up.
Woo!
Scripted that another way. That's an incredible story.
It is an incredible story. For real.
What happened to Adebo? He done hit something.
He'll be back because he actually slated for 7 o'clock.
Listen, I'm on a meeting right now. They probably like saying, who's she talking to? Because I'm on the camera and I'm doing all of this, and it's about 600 women on this call. First thing, let me take myself off camera and just listen in my ear, because they probably say, who's she fighting with in her office? There he is. There he is.
He
can go through the whole. He can go. The man's got a men's meeting going on right now over at Central. But Brother Lab, that's a PSA in between all of this. But this brother right here could have all 3 hours to itself and cover all types of history and remind us from the 1600s all the way up until today. And we still wouldn't have enough time to hear. I don't have to be anxious about what he's going to say, because the Bible declares not to be anxious in anything. But I'm excited about one thing. What we're going to hear is going to be the feelings, the truth, a statement, a comment, a heart for the people about what happened to our sister. And watch this. Here go another name, unfortunately, that he's going to add to a list and put on a poster that we're going to walk around and say, stop the brutality in our community. Stop the police. Listen, all preachers are not bad. All women are not crazy. All police have not lost their mind. But just like I tell people, there's good. Minnie Baraka says, you find the good in everything. I don't know with this one. I don't know where the good is in this man who went in this woman's house. Anyway, Brother Larry Ham, you on here. Let me just yield and digress.
So Larry, listen, man, I think the question I asked Bashi, and I ask you as well, because I think that, one of the questions always comes up whenever something happened to our people. It is, you got a lot of people now, before you came on, what I had shared is that when I heard about this, what came to mind for me, because I'm old enough to remember Eleanor Bumpers, right, who was murdered in her home by a police officer. And she was not shot, but she was blown away with a shotgun, right? A 66-year-old grandmother. But the question I would ask you, Larry, on the disciples is this. Larry, we have a lot of people who were activists then, who are now our elected leaders. But I want to ask you, Larry, when I told you, when I shared with you about, this thing, and, in a private conversation that I was having with Tamika, with Minnie Baraka, with Rakia Lumumba and Monifa Bandelli, you raised your hand and you said, I will do a march. What moved you, brother, to say, I'll step up? You could have said no. I mean, nobody else had raised their hand in Newark. What led you to do that?
Well, Ed, this action on Sunday wouldn't take place if it wasn't for you. You connected me with Tamika Mallory. I was so focused on other issues that I knew about the death of Sonia Massey. I mean, it was on the news, but I didn't know that there was a national effort being led by Until Freedom. And I got a call. I was in the car when you called me, and said, Tamika, Larry, this is Tamika.
He's having connection issues.
do it together to make an action happen. We have issues. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you kind of go out and come back in, the demon. He just froze
Okay.
up. We got plenty of time for him, for sure. He was due to come on 7, so he good and early, so he can get a lot in, right?
Yeah, he just need
But to his point,
you see, hey, Baba Zai, you see what happens? We start talking about, these
fighting the devil.
That's the devil.
Man,
That's
right.
That's
the devil.
It's not a coincidence, brother.
Fight his ass, though. You got to still fight his ass. Right? Pardon me cussing. But fight that no good bastard.
Man,
that's absolutely right. That's absolutely rightly, because our Bible teaches us, right? It teaches us to resist the devil.
That's
right?
Yes, and
resist him when he will flee you, right? Yes. So you right, Zaid, when you say fight the devil, you're right. We got to resist.
Listen, this past Saturday, I did the wedding of a man who did 49 years in prison for fighting the devil. Right? y'all might have heard of Jalil Muntakim, right?
Absolutely.
Bishop James almost got him killed because after he was ordered to be released, she went into court and tried to block it. But no, we got that brother out. And after 49 years in prison, he was only like 17, 18 when he went inside. He probably got a chance to do something basic that most of us don't get to do when we get locked up like that. And removing members from the group. That's one of the indices of genocide, you did, right? We defied that. We're gonna fight the devil. We're gonna keep fighting him, and we're gonna fight for the little bit of love we might get him or might not get, because that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting to win. We leading with love.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother.
But to where we were going when the demon got jammed up is that Tamika came through you, Ed, and we just don't do a day morning. Let's pick the day. But they said Sunday, all right, we do Sunday. We just did it. Because that's what we do. I got that thing on blast all over the country.
Same here.
Our statewide network against police brutality. We turning it up, and we're joining others who are turning it up. Right, Atlanta, Charlotte, Norfolk. I just heard from Greenwood to Tulsa, the T-town, the town of Black Wall Street.
Atlanta, Georgia now.
Yeah, all of them. We got a bunch of towns that are coming in and ready to really turn the volume up in honor of this young Black woman who should not have went out.
The media, the national media, have mentioned it today. I was telling Ed earlier that they mentioned that that activists are organizing a national day, the national day of mourning. For sister, they said Sonia Massey, and they were mentioning various cities, man, that are gonna be taking, they're gonna be shutting it down, man. They're gonna be shutting it down on Sunday, July 28th. So again, brothers and sisters, all roads lead, at least in Newark, New Jersey. In Newark, New Jersey, all roads lead to West Market and Springfield Avenue, the old courthouse.
So you what you call it when they got to use the directions, because you don't know how to use directions before Google and them came along. What's that thing you call it? What's the directional thing app y'all use?
MapQuest.
MapQuest?
Not MapQuest, not that. But when you're trying to get somewhere and you got to put it in your phone or your car, or whatever.
GPS.
The GPS. The GPS folks. 12 Springfield Avenue is for the Lincoln Monument.
12
right?
Springfield
I ain't got
Avenue,
no GPS. I just got the blues.
12 Springfield Avenue. 12 Springfield Avenue. Right. 12 Springfield Avenue.
2 o'clock. That's right.
Old courthouse, Lincoln statue. All right. We're gonna be marching from there to Broader Market, to shut down Broader Market streets. All right. To honor our sister. And again, Baba Zaid, I keep saying this over and over again. We got to do a strong libation for our sister.
You're going to do it. We're going to have you do it.
Ashe. But but we have our Our brother was just here, Dimu Chunga. I think we just lost him again, man.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
you
we got to.
What's happening is something is up with the computer that he uses too, because he always has trouble getting on and staying on with us recently.
Oh, wow.
We got to figure that out. That's a technical
COINTELPRO, brother.
you know. Yeah.
COINTELPRO didn't stop. Baba Zahid, you know that. Sister Balena, you know, Sister Rountree.
Keisha was trying to get on too. I was trying to save that, but Keisha was trying to get on too.
COINTELPRO didn't stop, brother.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't
still
stopped.
going on.
I was on the call right before this show comes on. Charles and Inez Barron got a show on BAI, right? And I'm starting the show on BAI, and I get a call from one of the sisters from the Uhuru movement. You know, we still got the Uhuru 3, right? September, right around the corner. Them charges ain't been dropped.
Wow.
Them charges ain't been dropped. They're looking at 10 to 15 years each. Omali Yeshiteli is 83 years old.
Yes.
Benny Hess is older than I am, right?
Yeah.
Looking at 10 to 15 years. No, you know.
Yeah.
No goddamn where, right? And this ain't no damn Republican thing. It's a government thing.
COINTELPRO, don't stop, brother.
The government has failed you.
No, don't stop. But we got our brother. We got our brother Dimu Chunga, aka Brother Lawrence Ham. But if you know you from the hood, you affectionately call him Brother Larry, State Chair of the People's Organization for Progress. You good, Brother Larry? Oh, we lost him again.
Yeah.
We lost him again.
I think y'all got, whenever he come back, y'all just got to go to him. Stop talking, give it to him.
But just pass the time.
But you know what I want to say is that you know us in the city of Newark, us organizing and rallying is our tradition. This is not tradition for us, right? This is our tradition, you know. And yes, you know, our brother who taught us all of this, Amiri Baraka, is not here, but we carry this stuff on in his tradition, right?
Right.
We learned this stuff from Amina Baraka and Amiri Baraka, and we know these things, and so. You know, when we raise our hand or when Tamika and them call these national things, you know, it is not uncommon, Roundtree, for us to say, here we go, right? Because that's what we do, right? When we see an injustice happening to our people, right? We don't need an invitation to get involved to say we're going to do something about it. But more importantly, we also don't need an invitation when something happened to our Black women, right?
Right.
Because our level of consciousness is there. It is that nobody needs to teach us the knowledge of self about who our queens are, right? But we do need to make a strong statement, as Bashir keeps saying, that we're not going to allow you to walk into the house of a young Black woman and some crazy ass white man who happens to have a badge and a gun and just shoot her in her face. I mean, think about the horror of that, brother. He shot this sister in her face, man.
Brother.
You know, and we can't have a lightweight conversation about that so that we don't get upset and mad because white folks want to say to us, well, don't say it like that because that's not going to do anything but make them niggers mad.
Right.
Don't say it. Just say she got shot in her head. Don't say they shot her in her face. Why? Because we know what that means as Black men.
He telegraphed what he was going to do. He said,
he did say,
shoot you in the face.
He did say that.
That's what he said.
That's right.
The tape is hard.
I'm warning you to put that down or we're not safe and we may have to. None of that.
The tape is
He did
horrible.
everything but call it an N-word.
Right. Baba, the tape is horrible. If you watch the police video, it is horrible what happened to that sister, man. You know, and again, we got to continue to be outraged, but not just outraged against police violence, police brutality. We got to continue to organize. We got to continue to organize on a local level, because all politics are local, right? But we have to take it from the local level to the state level and then to the federal level. And big shout out to Baba Zai. You've been out here a long time, from the community level, you know, from boots on the ground to, being able to now shape and mold policy on the state level and federal level. A big shout out to you, Baba Zai, for real, man. You've been consistent. Some of us, we just not consistent at all. But we want change. You know what I'm saying? We want, like what did Frederick Douglass say? We want the rain without the thunder, right?
Right.
We want change. We want reform, but many of us are not willing to, organize for that reform. We're not willing to come to state house meetings and council meetings, right? To advocate for change in our community. We're just not willing to do that. So big shout out to you, Baba Saeed, for real. Keep up that good work, big brother.
And we've had some wins locally, and we had some wins we ain't got yet. Right. So we're gonna be very local in this uplift of this sister. We're not here just to condemn what happened to her, but how that relates to what happens here.
That's right. Absolutely. What happens
here. Right. We just got the Seabrooks Washington bill passed after Najee Seabrooks and Drew Washington in Patterson and in Jersey City. Now we fighting with these lame bureaucrats in the state to get up off of their behinds, give up the money, right? Create the space, help us put together the community advisory board and whatnot, and do what the heck you're supposed to do. So this thing actually exists and we can use it to save people's lives instead of killing people like Sonia Massey and Najee Seabrooks and Hassani Best and Andrew Washington, right? Jersey's great for coming up with laws that they don't use. Racial impact statement law, right? Don't never use it. Open Records Act just got gutted with another act to say, well, we ain't gonna use the Open Records Act on this, right?
That's right. That's right.
The Soprano State is a trip. Corrupt, lame, as hell. Democrats and Republicans, white folks and Negroes, right? There's a bunch of them, right?
That's right.
If we don't straighten their behinds out and hold them accountable, they will sell you out without the blink with the twinkle of an eye.
Absolutely. Oh, and Baba Zaid and Brother Ed, Sister Balena, Sister Rountree, big shout out to the chief, Brother Middy. He was also a major player in terms of making sure that connections were made. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. Big shout out to Brother Middy. Big shout out to our big brother, Mayor Raz Baraka. They immediately jumped on board. For us to connect with everybody to make Sunday a successful program. You know what I'm saying? I don't say program, but rally. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to Brother Middy and big brother Raz Baraka, man, for real. Mayor Raz Baraka.
Middy has got his daddy's legs and ears. Raz has got his daddy's head.
No doubt, absolutely.
I'm making it plain, all right. Middy gets on the ground and develops those ground campaigns. He listens, he knows where to go.
Hey, don't y'all be leaving out Mother Amina here.
I'm not finished. You don't interrupt me.
That's my sister. Because they got her nose. Like Minnie got the nose between his father. He got that walk like his father, his shoulders. Like the man's got his mama nose. And if you look at the lineage, they got something from both of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, Obalaji is the warrior. He's the mama's boy. Obalaji is the mama's boy. Right?
Best thing the Barakas could have done was put a library in their house. Because Raz Jua, he got a couple of them, but he can get in front of any crowd. Sometimes he'll be saying things like, wow, I thought I was just going to be greetings, but I think they want me to do a little bit more. And I'm like, I don't know what you're worried about it for, because it's in your belly. You know, it's
That's Daddy's head.
It's in, and what you said, and it's in his head.
Daddy's head. That's right.
So, yeah, thanks be to God for that leadership. As we speak right now, as I stated earlier, there's a men's meeting going on over at Central that he does every fourth Friday. Lincoln Park Music Festival is happening over at Lincoln Park. I think tonight is R&B. I kicked off gospel night with Pastor Kevin Taylor Wednesday. Of course, tomorrow is house music. And Brother Ed, let me tell you something. Brother Anthony, this is his 19th year, Brother Anthony Smith. I'm a very spiritual person now, but house music and club music, next to gospel, is one of my favorite. And I said to myself,
Like you from
we
Newark.
can't get folks to come out for certain things, but Lady Ali, they will dance in the snow.
Somebody in house music.
Because I know I will too.
You believe that? Yeah, that's right.
They will
I
come out.
will too.
It can be thundering and lightning. They not gonna listen to what grandma said, like go run for cover. They'll be out there clothes soaking wet. It won't even, I promise you. You know, Mom used to say, don't pick up the phone and don't turn out the lights when it's lightning. Baby, it can be lightning. If they're in the middle of a song, they ain't going nowhere. Those are
house
10
music
days.
all night long. House music all night long.
So that's
All
Saturday,
night.
I believe.
Newark and Chicago, boy. That's it.
I believe rap is Sunday. But let me say this. People used to wonder why gospel wasn't on Sunday. Because they want to open with gospel, and they open on Wednesday.
Right.
So they opening with God, and the music that brought us through, the music that Go Down Moses and Amazing Grace, and ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, got us through that. That's gospel, and so they kick off the gospel. So that's this weekend. There's so much going on. I'm doing a couple of mental health seminars. The mayor has some amazing things. Please watch my page for the amazing events that we have going on here in the city of Newark. But I don't see my guy. I don't see my sergeant in arms on here tonight. I don't know where
You're not coming on tonight, so we gonna have to be the ones to tell you, like, chill.
Oh, Brother Jonathan. Well, we got a lot going on. I guess
Always. That's how we ride.
We got a lot going on. My prayer is, though, listen, this is a sister talking. Some folks had to change their whole game plan. I was watching CNN after the debate, my brothers, and just for a minute, and flipping the station, I flipped on Fox, and not looking for Fox, just surfing. But what caught my eye is it says something about, oh, what a phenomenal delivery. And they were talking about, the other guy, right?
The young boy that's running with Trump.
So I said, what debate was they watching? They were saying all these great things. And then I was on my way to MSNBC when I saw that. When I got to MSNBC, the whole message was something different. Like, what was that rhetoric about? He just went on and on about. So I was like, the media, even with this story with Sister Massey, the media has a way. I just don't. I'm trying to wrap my head around subliminal perception. You ever, when I was growing up, Brother Baba, you could be just as full as a tit and see a McDonald's commercial and want some French fries because you saw the subliminal. I'm just saying, because you saw it. People
Not
watching it here. People
You're
watching
living in
it
a time
here.
when image making has become a science.
Oh my gosh! I'm like, don't get caught up in the Twilight Zone watching television and listening to these people. And this is for those who might be tuned in, on All Politics Local, number one hip hop. I'm just saying, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the twilight zone. Sometimes we work too hard trying to figure out things that we don't even have to think about.
That's
It's
right.
not. Some stuff is just a no-brainer, and we put all this energy into trying to figure out something that's just as clear as day in front of us, and we be trying to dissect it, take it apart, figure it out, see what this means, and it means what it is. It is what it is.
That's right. That's
It
right.
is when you it would have to say that the person show you who they are the first time, believe them.
Right.
You know, I mean, and if you, they used to say, if you're crazy in the street, you're crazy. You come to the church, you're gonna be crazy in the church. If you're a hellraiser somewhere else, wherever you go, you're gonna be a hellraiser. Now you may be a Holy Ghost hellraiser, but you will raise some hell. You know.
They was talking about me when they said that.
You know, so it's a lot
On
going
point.
on, and our people really need to wake up. If we've never been united before, I was talking to somebody today, Brother Bob and Brother Ed, about we're not the only race that have division amongst us. I was called to a misunderstanding between some youth about 12, 13 years ago. It was a school in our hillside and some kids from Newark. They asked me to come and see could I talk to a couple of the kids. So when I was on my way, I said, what happened? They said, well, it's the blacks against the Haitians. I was like, the what? The blacks? I'm like, they both black. What you mean the blacks against the Haitians? You know, the logic to how we think as a people, like the blacks against the Haitians against the Africans, this Peruvian against that Peruvian, and this Dominican against that. I mean, like, I'm trying to figure, it's not just us. I want y'all to know they're not like us, but it's not just us. And so sometimes we get so focused on just us, we don't realize what's happening around us is pretty much the same thing. We trying to keep ourselves together, Bashir, keep our heads right and keep ourselves united. But whatever's going on in your circle, whatever spirits are around you, spirits of division create spirits of division. Spirits of hate create spirits of hate. Spirits of love draw love. Yeah. So if you got people behind you hating on each other, people in front of you, and you trying to love, but for some reason that subliminal peace for what you're seeing and what you're watching and what you're hearing causes you to have that type of mentality. I refuse to die and go wherever the Lord gonna take me and have a spirit of hate under no certain terms, and that takes work. But those are the messages we have to send, and at the same time, let them know we ain't no punk. And it don't mean because we loving you because you wrong that we don't hold you accountable for the wrong that you do. You know. So.
That's on point. It's on point, my sister.
So, Balena, is there any final words or anything you want to share? You know, before we wrap this up. Let me see. I think you unmute. You muted.
Well, I'm muted.
You good?
I want to be 10 toes on the pavement. I will be down there on Sunday. I'm trying to bring some of my church family with me, but if not, I'm still coming down on Sunday because I'm definitely outraged about this here. Yeah, so
all right.
I'll be out there.
But we'll be looking for
I got something.
That's what I'm talking about, Sister Leena. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support, my sister.
You're welcome. Always. Yeah, we family.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm trying to.
But yeah, thank you,
pull up
Sister
something.
Balena. Like you said, we're family for life. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yes.
Nothing you can do. You can't change that, Sister Balena. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So on Monday, July 29th, 2024, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Miraz Baraka will host the United States Treasury Inflation Reduction Act Roadshow. If you are a tax-exempt organization pursuing clean energy projects, If so, this event is for you. It will be at Newark City Hall in the press room from 3 to 5 p.m. July 28th, soundstage. Okay, I'm doing a casting call, guys, for a play, I Matter. That will be held on Saturday, July 27th, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I want to thank all of the individuals that came out for us to do the mammogram screening. We talk about men's health, women's health, mental health. What is so important is our mental health for real. So there will be on September 12th a mental health seminar. I just want to send a message out to those who are landlords. You know, we can't be in every house, in every apartment, Brother Ed, and we don't get every complaint here. But I want to send a message to landlords as Councilwoman at Large for the City of Newark, and all of my colleagues stand with me on this. While we yet are on this show of this program as disciples, I want to be very, very clear. We do not stand with individuals who allow our residents to live in conditions that are not just inhabitable, but just conditions that you don't live in. When you go home to your beautiful apartment, wherever it might be, and you're not concerned about the water, the heat, the filth, or anything that the people who are paying you rent to rent from you, that's a problem. So I want you all to find your conscience somewhere that know how you're treating the people who are living in conditions that you don't care about. I want you to find your conscience somewhere and go back and fix what needs to be fixed for the people, not just in our city, but in all of the communities where they have to tolerate paying rent to individuals that only come by when it's time to get the rent. And I know that this is a disciples show, but God is a God of order. And while we talk about the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein, the truth of the matter, we are all in this world. And while we're battling all of the issues of today, the Lord says, be still and know that I'm God. So I know I'm not God, but I know that there's a higher power. And the truth is, while we are working to try to help our people that are going through, while we have worked on the numbers and violences that are 60% low and crimes that are 60% lower than it's ever been. And then we have all of these programs that they're putting together for our residents without addresses. We have all of these things going on. And while we're doing all of this, we have landlords that are turning back the hands of time because you don't want to have people living in the conditions that are cohesive to them being comfortable. Now, we know not all residents are the perfect residents, but then we're not a perfect world. But at the end of the day, I am just my office, and I'm not speaking as just a disciple. I'm speaking as Councilwoman Reverend Roundtree, both. That when residents call and they can't get this done or that done, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. So we have all types of services for education. We have Office of Violence Prevention is working up, down, all around. We have the Shiny Baraka Center dealing with domestic violence and other programs. We have all types of youth programs. Summer youth are all over the city of Newark interning with different organizations, different offices, learning how to do some things they've never done before. I'm excited about my interns because my interns and my summer youth workers are excited to learn. And I'm not talking just because they want to get a job, they want a career.
All right.
So let me stop because, Jonathan's not here and Ed just let me go on. I have to say that because I don't care if two people are listening. Listen, to be honest with you, no matter who's on, somebody gonna go back and look at this later. And somebody need to say, tell a landlord, see, our audience is not the audience that really need to hear this. The audience that needs to hear this, I probably need to be out there with Baba Zahid in front of one of them towers that, one of these tall buildings that they got their office in Brooklyn somewhere, because some of them don't even, anyway, I'm just saying. We got to stop it. Our people are hurting bad enough with everything else. Then we got to worry about how you got them living, and especially the ones paying their rent. We do everything we can to assist landlords and residents. But I'm just saying, please take care of our residents. Please stop having us come out and having meetings in the street. I missed a meeting this week in a particular area of our city. People outside talking about holes in their ceilings and holes in their walls. And I mean, come on. Yes, Zahid, holes in their walls, holes in their ceiling, all types of things, and it's bad, and we'll get the brunt of it because we sitting in office and they like, well, you letting it happen. What you doing to it? Evictions, they say at all time. I help people not get evicted, but I don't have the true. There's all types of numbers floating around. All types. I just want our landlords to do better and find their conscience. That's it.
All right.
And all right, we waiting on
All right, Rocky.
some other folk. I love all of you.
Love y'all. Love y'all.
Hotel, thank you for allowing me this Sunday. Tell Lady Kim I said hi. We miss our brother, Minister Abdul Haqq Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, my brother, wherever you might be when you turn in, the representative of the Honorable Minister Louise Farrakhan, who is the lead disciple. Thank you. God bless you. Peace, family. Assalamu alaikum, family. God bless all of you.
All right.
We'll see y'all next
Love y'all on Sunday.
We'll see y'all Sunday.
I'm going to see you Sunday. Now I got 5 events Sunday, but I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock. Y'all going to see my face.
I'm going to see you
Sunday. See you Sunday, family. Hotep. All right, family. I'm out. Hotep, family. I'm out. All right. All roads lead to the old courthouse, Lincoln, at the Lincoln statue this Sunday, 2 o'clock, July 28th. Baba Zai, you have to give the address. I can't think of the address.
12 Springfield Ave.
12 Springfield Avenue. All roads lead to 12 Springfield Avenue, old courthouse.
So we're all going to organize and adjourn at the old courthouse, right? And then we're going to organize ourselves from there, and then we're going to march straight down to the center, the heart of the city, right? And that's where we're going to rally.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely. We're going to honor our sister. We're going to honor our sister, Sonia Massa. All right. But we're also going to, Sister Sonia Massey, but we're going to organize the community against police brutality. On that note, Hotep, peace, family. All right.
All right, B.
All right.
Thanks for coming through, brother.
No problem.
I'm trying to talk for a minute because I'm trying to locate this young mother that's supposed to be coming on. For some reason, she's not seeing the link, and I'm trying to find her email. Right.
So for us, brothers and sisters, it's going to be really important that you all share the word, right? Make sure that you all get to your churches and talk to your pastors, talk to the people in the church, and make sure that they come out and stand for this woman who obviously Sonia Massey was a woman of God, because she called on God in that moment, when she said that I rebuke you, and that those of us who are Bible believing faith people, we walk in the Spirit. And so she obviously knew at that very moment that these men who were in our house were devils. And that's why she said what she said, devil, get behind me, when she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I think that's important for those of us who recognize what happened in that moment. So it's important that we show up for her, that we show up for the kingdom of hell, so that hell knows that the people of God came to organize and to scream out justice for our sister on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Lincoln Monument at 12 Springfield Avenue. It's important, brothers and sisters, that we don't become numb to murder, that we don't become numb to police officers killing our people, that we don't become numb, brothers, that when we see an injustice happening to our sisters, our wives, our mothers, that we don't come out and say something about that, and that our unity, our organizing, our coming together will say something to those police officers everywhere, not just in Chicago, but it will say something to the world, that we are not going to act as though this is all right, right? We're going to voice our discern with that. We're going to voice our anger with that. We're going to speak to that on Sunday. So it's important that all of us show up and be in unity and be in community with one another. And as my brother Bashir said, we're going to do libation, right? Because she's now an ancestor.
Yeah, I trained all my troops how to do that.
Yeah.
They called me. I said, "No, I showed y'all how to do it. Do it."
And that's important, Zaid. That we do that. What is libation, by the way? What is that?
Libation is a ritual of unity, and ancestral recognition and ritual of unity. It recognizes our ancestors and those who, and anyone who has gone before us, who merits honor and respect and inspiration, right? And it's something that predates religion as we know it. You can be from any background of a person from African descent and participate in a libation.
Yeah, that's important, Zaid. I think that for us, every meeting we have, I think that's important for us to make sure that we don't forget those brothers and sisters who came before us, right? That's our tradition.
That's right.
And that's necessary for us to do. I know that scared the hell out of some white folks when they see us do that. Just like it scared the hell out of that devil when he heard what Sister Massey said. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That scared the hell out of him. But we've got your guest here, Zaid. So let's go on and introduce our sister to the show.
Shernaleria, go ahead and unmute yourself.
What's up to brother Principal Kapele, who just chimed in?
Yes, very good to see our brother, right? Our people's principal, right? Shernaleria, how are you feeling, daughter? How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Just by way of background, now this is Shernaleria came to Pop some time ago, trying to get support for her son. I want you to tell that story in just a moment, because I called you on now because there's so many parallels with what happened to your son, with what happened to this young woman out in Illinois, and I want folks to see that, right? This platform is called All Politics Are Local. We've got a number of local stories that have dimensions very much like what happened to Sonia Massey, right? And we wanted to give you a chance to do that, to be heard and to be supported and to be uplifted. So tell us in October 6, 2021, this little sister lost her son at the hands of the police under very cloudy, anything but transparent circumstances. There's a lot of parallels to what happened to this young man, right? So Shernaleria, tell us about what happened to Antonio, and then tell us about Antonio, because in all of these things, what happens is that the humanity of those lives lost are never lifted up, right? And that's why when we do these things, it's important to do them, because we have to lift up our loved ones' humanity. You wouldn't know anything about that young man other than the narrative that the police created. We wouldn't know anything about Sonia Massey other than the narrative that the police created until folks actually found out what happened. Mm-hmm. So that's why these kind of platforms that we create for ourselves are important. So let me take a step back and let you, young queen, tell us about what happened to Antonio.
Yeah, well, before you get started, my sister, I just want to say we got some background noise
Yeah, hold on a second.
Me too.
Is this better?
A little better. That's a little better. Sure, that's a little better.
Okay. So, Antonio was killed on October 6, 2021. It was supposed to be said as a suicide, which I knew was impossible because my child wasn't a suicidal person. He was against it. He even helped his sister along the way when she was feeling that way by being bullied in school. His exact words is he asked her if she was pussy because that's what pussies do. They kill themselves instead of standing up for what they believe in. So that was on my radar. I was against just knowing that it could be a suicide. But after finding out from the media what was being said, I did go to New York the same day that he died, but in the evening, I finally was able to, one of his friends was picking me up from Pennsylvania to bring me to New York. And throughout the whole day, I was calling, trying to find out where he was, where his body was, because I wasn't getting the information from the police. Um, I'm a mother that's not gonna stop until I get the answers that I need. And I called the precinct trying to figure out where my child was, where his body was. I was told that his body wasn't removed from the apartment until 2 o'clock that evening, and his death took place probably 8:30 that morning. In the midst of what happened, they had SWAT team drones out in front of the building where he was staying with his girlfriend. Um, she did tell me that because I needed to know what happened. She was there. It was just him and her in the apartment. And as was stated, that she heard a knock at the door, and when she went to the door, she looked at the people and saw that it was the police. She went back to tell my son that the police was at the door. My son kind of panicked because he had a parole violation. Um, so they were, she said they were bracing back and forth, back and forth. He then, I don't know if he saw something through the window, but he told her to go into the bathroom. So she went into the bathroom and got into the bathtub and locked the bathroom door. And the next thing she knew, she said that she heard the police banging on the door, saying that he knew that my son was in the apartment. She heard the officers scream out, "Fuck your girl and fuck you, because you're gonna die today." Because my son shouted out, "My girl, my girl." In the midst of all of this, she said the police did enter into the apartment and started wriggling the doors, the bathroom door. And before they started to bang or kick the door in, she unlocked the door and they made her come out with her hands first before letting her exit out the bathroom. She did say she glanced at the bedroom door because the bedroom was literally right next to the bathroom, and the door was closed and there was no holes in the wall. So she was escorted to the hallway stairwell and they took her to the 7th floor and made her sit there. And this time, I did have a missed call around 10 o'clock that morning stating that my son was not responding to, I guess, a debrief of trying to get him out of the apartment. That he had barricaded himself in the apartment. So by the time that was the last thing I heard. The next thing I heard was when I called back at 10:30 to find out what was going on and what they were talking about, because I didn't know what they were talking about. He said that my son was that they had him in custody, is what they said at 10:30. 11 o'clock, they said that my son was gone. And at that moment, I was in disbelief and trying to figure out, what are they talking about? What do you mean that my son is gone? So with that being said, I didn't hear anything else about what was going on, what happened to him, until 2 days later. They let his girlfriend back into the apartment because they wouldn't let her in the apartment after the day he was killed, because they said they needed to clean the apartment. When she was let back in 2 days later, the apartment was in disarray, bullet holes everywhere, a puddle of blood in the bedroom closet, and drag marks coming from the bedroom to the living room. The glass from the bedroom window was shattered, like from the inside. So something that came from the outside was in the inside, went through the window in the inside. There was even blood on the mattress. There was footprints in the bedroom as well. Um, and then just huge, looked like maybe shotgun bullet holes as well as small bullet holes. And then the door was kicked in.
And this is being revealed to you 2 days later.
Yes. She videoed everything when they finally let her back into the apartment. She videoed the way the apartment looked.
So for 2 days, you didn't even know what happened to him.
No, after he died, I called the next morning, because I stayed with my brother in Brooklyn, so I can be able to find out what's going on, what happened, where's my child, because at this time I still didn't know where my child was. And calling the precinct, they were giving me a runaround on who to speak to. So that Thursday morning, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, his girlfriend, my sister, my daughter, and I all went to the precinct to try to figure out where my son's body was, and if it was really my son, because up to now I didn't. Well, at that time I didn't know who it could be. You could say it's my son, but I needed proof that it was my son. So I finally got a hold to a detective Thursday morning, and he just gave me another number to call the ME, the medical examiner. So I was able to get in touch with the medical examiner, and I called, and they were trying to tell me that they know it's my son because they fingerprinted him and stated it was him. But I was like, and then they was in a process of doing an autopsy report. So I was concerned because I said, don't you need my permission to do an autopsy report? They said in this case, they did not need a proof. I mean, my invitation or permission for a autopsy report because it was a police matter. So I was really like bent out. I was like, where's his body? I have not seen his body. I've been here since Wednesday afternoon, and I'm not able to get in touch with nobody, or nobody's telling me anything.
Shernaleria, for everybody's benefit, I want folks to understand where you were when your son was in that. Antonio was in Harlem.
Yes.
You were not, you don't live in New York. Where were you living at the time?
In Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
You were in Pennsylvania, right? And had to go through all of this coming from Pennsylvania just to find out where your son was and what happened to him. I want folks to hear all of it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And by the way, how old was Antonio?
He was 23.
23. Okay.
So, yeah, because Wednesday, once I was told that it was him, that he was all over the news, it was heartening for me because the picture that they had was a mugshot from when he was arrested in 2019. So I was like really rattled about that. But in the midst of finally being able to go down to the medical examiner's office, because they didn't want me to come down, but then they said for this time that I can come down and they can give me a picture of him. And this is what they did. They took a picture of him for me to verify that he was my child.
A photo, okay.
Which wasn't fair to me because I didn't even get to say goodbye to my child. So it was very heartbreaking in the midst of all of this. Trying to make arrangements was very hard because he didn't have insurance, so I had to do a GoFundMe page for him to get funds to help me bury him, as well as clothing him, and then making sure that I was good for that day, as well as his sister.
So let me stop you for a second. Take a beat, catch your breath, because you're saying a lot, and feel the weight that you're carrying, right? Once the autopsy was performed, what did they say? What was their version of what happened?
So the autopsy report to me was a concern because it was dated July 2022.
But this is October, right?
He died October 6, 2021.
Go on.
So I was concerned about that. The autopsy report showed that he had a force trauma to the head besides the gunshot to his head. His torso was beaten. It showed that he had cut marks on his hands. And at the end of the report, it stated that it was police confrontation / suicide, which don't make sense to me.
No,
It's one or the other. And it also don't make sense because you said that no one entered the apartment until when the officers entered the apartment, it was said that they found him face down on the floor in the living room. So if that's the case, why does it say police confrontation?
Yeah, that is a classic example of a multi-layered police cover-up that started from the very inception of the incident. Right? And I wanted folks to hear this and then stop and put a pin in what we just heard about Sonia Massey. Right? And in this daughter's case, even with the videotape, there was an effort to cover up what happened from the beginning. The family didn't find out about it until from the media, and then when they did the investigation and the body cameras finally came out, that's how they found out what really happened. Right? So police cover-ups. See, it's not just the officers involved; it's how the system supports and protects officers when they do that. That's involved. See? So we want to put the system on blast for how it covers and protects these racist, abusive police officers. Everything you describe tells, and Ed, you got the legal stuff next to your name, but it sounded to me like they came into that room, right? Whatever intent that they had, or official or unofficial, beat him badly on the way to shooting him to death, and everything that you described, the trail marks and all of that, it sounds like they dragged him wherever they were going to drag him to take him out of there. Just as horrible, and I can't say enough how sorry I am that it happened to your son and that you had to walk through that nightmare, right? So I want to say to you from your community that we're terribly sorry that you went through that. Right. And having to deal with then the super logistical hoops of trying to live a life in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, or Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, right? And then trying to do all of that, coming back and forth to New York. That's incredible to deal with. It's incredible to deal with. But we see the parallels, right? Y'all see the parallels that I wanted to bring out. Now, I understand. Now, do you currently have an attorney for you and your family?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
You have an action coming up in a few weeks. Tell us about that action.
Yeah, a year later, my daughter was attacked by the same precinct on his year. Yes. So
see, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the mistake I made in the telling of your story. There was another Antonio who was killed by the police around the same time that the Justice Committee was working with.
Okay.
Right? And then I heard about an incident, right, where folks were rallying at a precinct and the police attacked some of the protesters, including a female. Now, I'm thinking it's Antonio Williams' case. That was your daughter. Now you're clarifying that was your daughter then.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so she also has a case, a lawsuit.
She was on. I'm sorry.
Maya, we see you there. We're gonna come to you for the next segment in a little bit. But we got to wrap up with this very heavy segment that we're doing right now. Okay. But August, don't you have something coming up in August?
Yes, August 6th.
That's what I wanted you to get at.
August 6th. I just wanted to ask you, before you start, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask you, and I stopped you and told you to take a breath, and I too could see the heaviness as you begin to play the story back in your head. So, how are you doing? And especially when you come in and you're doing whatever you're doing in the course of the day, and the news story breaks the other day about Sonia Massey, does that take you right back? Like, do you get past to a place of healing, and then you see this with Sonia Massey? Does it take you right back? How are you doing today?
Well, there's no healing. I'm still trying to heal. Going through, trying to live because I still have my daughter. But they said it would be easier, but I feel like it's getting harder. But then have to see more cases passing and more cases passing. It's unbearable because it's still happening. And it's why I fight so hard, even though it's hard for me. I still go out and I fight because not only do I want my son's story heard, but there needs to be accountability. Needs to happen. There's no accountability for everything that's going on with any of these families. And then I just feel bad sometimes because I still don't know the officers who took my child's life.
This is almost 3 years ago now.
Yes.
How's that?
August 6th, 2021. And to this
October
day,
6th.
October 6th, you still do not have the names of the officers involved. That is incredible. That is incredible.
And I'm sorry, you were about to tell us your action that you're doing on August 6th?
Yes.
Yes, August 6th, we're meeting in front of the Attorney General's office to continue to fight for justice for Antonio, as well as to let people know his story, to get his story out so everyone can know what's happening, because they're looking at media when you type his name in and looking at him as a monster, which he was not a monster. He was very caring and loving. He cared about his family.
He was probably scared. Sounds like he was scared because he had that outstanding thing, and he thought they were probably going to take him out, which they could have done without killing him.
Yes, and I would rather him be in jail than being 6 feet under. And is what I need to continue to portray, because he wasn't perfect, but didn't give them a right to take his life.
And how old was he?
23.
23, young, and
That's right.
and still, it just and you've seen it also. Is criminal justice is, one of.
Everybody's benefit. Let me just quickly. I want to put a
Mhm.
pin on this and bring this back to the magnet that is pulling all of this together. Sunday, 2 o'clock at the Lincoln Monument, 12 Springfield Avenue. We will be
Thank
having
you.
a day of mourning for Sonia Massey. But what we're doing locally is lifting up the Sonia Massey's stories that we have right in our area, right? And what you just heard, the story of Antonio Casseem Armstrong from his mother is a Sonia Massey story,
Mhm.
right? Carl Dorsey, killed by Newark police on January 1st the same year, is a Sonia Massey story, right? Najee Seabrooks, Hassani Best, Bernard Plessis, all these stories have parallels, right? And the biggest and the ugliest parallel is the lack of accountability that Mama Shernaleria just laid out. So we want to say we're going to support you. Tell it now. Come back August 6th, time, place. Come back, give us that information. We will put that on blast and see what we can do to get you some help on the 6th.
Okay, thank you.
Well, where is everything going to be and what time?
So
August 6th. Go ahead.
August 6th, 2024. We're meeting. I have the flyer. At the Attorney General's office on Liberty Avenue in New York, Manhattan, New York, downtown New York. I asked in the flyer that everyone meet if they can at the train station at 1 o'clock, so we can head over and march to the Attorney General's office at 1:30. 1:30 we'll be leaving the train station to start marching.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're going to find that, and because I know I saw it on your page. I'm going to pull it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to share that out. And I'm going to reach out to some folks in New York also. You may want to even do this now. Now you live in Jersey now. Where are you now in Jersey?
Trenton.
You're in
Well, outside of Trenton, I'm in Willingboro.
Ed. We need to connect her with Tamika on Until Freedom in New York.
Mm.
We need to connect her with Tamika and see if they can help her on August 6th. Now I know I got to find it. I know I saw it, right? But we're going to get that out. We're going to get that out for you and try and help, give you some help in that very basic way. Know that also I have a thing that I'm trying to redevelop. I run a statewide coalition against police brutality in New Jersey called New Jersey Communities for Accountable Policing, and we had a project called Say Their Names, which
Mm-hmm.
which addresses the impact of police violence on women, how they can be victimized directly, and how they can be victimized through being survivors of their families being killed. And when women get together, something about the magic of black women, when y'all get together, things happen for the better,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we redevelop that space, I want to invite you into that space so you can share with some other women who've been through that. And it's a space that we're trying to give more legs to. Just a couple weeks ago, marked the 10th anniversary of the police killing of Eric Garner by New York police in
Mm-hmm.
Staten Island. His mother,
Mm-hmm.
Gwen Carr, by virtue of what she was able to do in the lawsuit and all of that around her son's death, her foundation, she has really made that foundation a force for other mothers, right? So there's some good people that you should be in touch with. And has your son been inducted into Stolen Lives yet?
Yes.
He has, right? And that's another network that you've already been touched by, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So you're not going to be alone anymore. That's for sure. We're terribly sorry about what happened to you. And we're here to help you get through this as best we can, as much as we can.
Thank you.
And thank you for your courage and your strength.
And so you have the information for her, and if she's able to come Sunday, and if you are able to
Yeah,
participate Sunday, bring your flyers so that people will know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying
that's
to
a good idea.
if I can make that
Exactly right.
happen. It's also my
Okay.
daughter's birthday.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ed, you want to say anything else as we close her out and we get to this patient young woman who's out here out in the streets shutting shit down in DC? You're muted.
You're
You're muted.
muted. Can't hear you.
Yeah, well, I think like Zaid said, obviously, we're sorry to hear about what happened to Antonio, but obviously, just like all the mothers, you're gonna fight until hell freezes over, and then you're gonna fight some more even after that, right? Until you get justice. And I think that that's what you're supposed to do. So we will do our best to connect you with the folks that we have connections to that can help you. All we can say is that we're sorry for your loss, and that we're going to stand with you. And as my brother Zaid always says, all politics are local as a drum. So if you have no other place where no other people are willing to hear from you, know that you always have a space here to come and tell the community what's happening and what's going on. And we'll do our best to put pressure on those people to make sure that they don't do that to you in a vacuum, right? So that no one hears from you. Because when you broadcast things, people have a tendency to come out and say, "Oh, I didn't know that." But as long as you do it and nobody's looking at them, they act like, "Well, I didn't know nothing about it." But we're going to help you get some other folks looking at them besides yourself.
All right.
So
Love to
thank you.
you, Wayne. We're gonna make sure we do this follow up too. You have my number and everything, and when I have yours, and we're gonna try and get you hooked up with our folks in New York. Okay. All right. All right. Shernaleria Eccles, mom of Antonio Casseem Armstrong. Horrible story.
And Zaid, there's some folks
That's
in
the biggest, baddest, richest, most complicated, difficult police department in the damn country. And that woman had to come all the way from Pennsylvania to put up with that mess and still didn't even have some basic, factual, clear answers. That is absolutely obscene.
Yeah, just think, yeah,
Obscene.
the body left in the and for 3 years she still haven't gotten the name of the officers, and it's just my goodness.
Ridiculous. I don't know who the lawyer is. I hope he can bang. Right.
Yeah, bringing it.
So now, speaking of banging and horror or whatnot, we heard
Yeah.
some. I had a let me frame this segment this way. Tova, good to see you. Right, Maya, good to see you. Welcome to All Politics are Local. It's your first time with us. We got a lot to get in and not a whole lot of time, but we gonna do it. All right, so don't worry, we gonna get it in. Right. A war criminal came to Washington a minute ago, and pardon me for not even trying to be objective about this, right? Because the mass media ain't been objective at all. So if they're gonna tell that version, we're gonna ride for Mars, right? A war criminal was just received by the U.S. Congress this week to some incredible disapproval, disruption, and protests, right? And some of the folks that we have on here participated in some of that. And if you listen to how the press, as we know it, covered it, you think it was just a bunch of nuts who would, with terrorist inclinations that are anti-Semitic and disrespected property and burnt the damn flag. They even twisted up what Kamala Harris said. And that's a whole other thing that we'll come to at some point, given whatever limitations we have to deal with her and her emergence for where she's going to be in this campaign for the White House now. But days before, 500 members of Jewish Voices for Peace did a sit-in at the Congress. Powerful stuff. Wasn't blasted the way it should have been on the front page. Folks surrounded the Congress when the war criminal was telling his tale, right? Sounding like someone who was not at all interested in peace, right? Over 100 legislators, refused to participate in it. And the one lone Palestinian legislator sat there defiantly and with dignity and grace and just held up that sign, war criminal while the others applauded and totally ignored their colleague from Michigan. Right? So let's unpack this. Maya and Tova are both with Al-Ada, New York, New Jersey, right? And Al-Ada means the right to return, right? Maya, you went down to D.C. Before you tell about what y'all did, what y'all saw, why you did it, tell everybody a little bit about Al-Ada, the organization and what it represents and how you got involved.
Thank you so much. As you say, al-awda means the right to return, and Tova can speak more to this actually because I'm new to al-awda and have been supporting al-awda's work for the last few months, and it's really such an honor to be working with a Palestinian-led organization fighting for Palestinian liberation and honestly fighting for an end to U.S. imperialism in Palestine and all around the world, including here in this country. I mean, it was really such a heartbreak and honor to hear the end of the last segment of your show. And I think these struggles are completely connected.
Absolutely. Tell no lies, claim no easy victories, said a great Pan-Africanist revolutionary Amilcar Cabral, and they are all connected, right? So a bunch of folks went down to D.C. to greet the war criminal. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we don't know exact numbers, and the mainstream media always underreports how many people were there. I've heard it was in the tens of thousands, and there was a speaking portion, and we were there at 3rd in Pennsylvania. There were also numerous other groups that shut down various parts of the city. I believe we were hearing 5 intersections, so traffic was really stopped. I heard it took a really long time for the war criminal to, in fact, even reach his destination that day because we had, different groups had so shut down traffic in the city. And then we started to march, and I'm sure people, or I don't know, it's not being well reported, but I'm sure many people have seen just how violently cops, not just Capitol Police, but in fact, cops from all across the country, several hundred from New York, where I live, had come to violently attack protesters. Many of our comrades, especially the ones right at the front, were very violently tear gassed.
Wait, hold up. Ed, Tova, we the old heads on this conversation, right? Do you remember a whole lot of police protecting the Congress on January 6th a couple years ago?
Hell no.
They brought them out for our young people to protect that damn Netanyahu that they didn't they?
Well, and to that point, a couple of officers too lost their lives that day, right?
Yes, because they when they were under a real threat, they didn't do that.
That's right.
Because they don't deal with the internal threats, because they don't deal with their internal contradictions, and they don't deal with the internal pathology of American racism. Go ahead, man. Finish your point. But I wanted to put a pin in that to amplify just how crazy that is.
Absolutely. I mean, the stark contrast, it was incredible. I mean, it's the movement. I mean, as you were even describing the action at the Capitol the day before, but it's really, I mean, it was really so intersectional, very intergenerational. It was, everybody was trying to walk around close to where we're walking down Constitution Avenue, and as we were trying to continue on Constitution Avenue, I was somewhat behind the front in the middle, and I just heard this explosion. Unclear if it was tear gas canisters. We really didn't know what was going on, and then the whole protest just stopped, and there were like lots of people going in all directions, and I mean, I'm also just so moved by the bravery of my comrades at the front who were being so attacked and just covered in tear gas and pepper spray, is so deeply uncomfortable and kept the march going, had to redirect.
They
And
held
we
a
were
line.
basically forced onto side streets, forced around and onto small residential streets, which is what they want. They don't want us on the main big streets. And people were brave, and they kept the march going. And despite being we were rushing to delis and pouring milk on several comrades who were just in excruciating agony from being covered in pepper spray.
Now, having said that, and Tova, I'm gonna bring you into the conversation because I want to jump, and we got to make the most of the time that we have left. Do you know of any folks from your ranks that had been harmed and or arrested? And is there a need for some follow-up public support for anyone who had been arrested?
I'm not aware of arrest numbers at this point. I'm sure that there were some, but as far as being harmed, I just heard today that there were several people who were up front that were actually the tear gas and the pepper spray was so strong they were spraying them directly. I mean, you see videos with the cops having these blue bottles of spray that they were just spraying very profusely on individuals, that some of them actually passed out from it and were laying on the ground and had to be resuscitated. For one guy was passed out for sorry, my cat is trying to join. Anyways, one guy was passed out for about 45 minutes. Yeah. So yes, there were people harmed, and it's hard to know what the long-term effects are when you're knocked out like that and passed out for 45 minutes from the effects of this gas, what that does to your lungs.
Interrupts your breathing. I can't breathe. Ain't just knees on the neck. That stuff interrupts your breathing, and that's what it's designed to interrupt your breathing and to impair your sight. That's what it was designed to do.
Yep.
Now, before we pivot and start talking about,
I just want to add, they were spraying right into people's faces at a very close distance. I mean, we were trying to flush people's eyes out. It's horrible. People couldn't see. Their eyes were burning. Their entire, respiratory burning when they were breathing.
And this was the NYPD. That was a good part of this. They brought out their shock troops from New York to participate in this.
Finished crushing student protests in New York at the behest of Eric Adams and everybody who he answers to.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, there were several hundred. They were on their bikes saying NYPD, and then there was, many SRG officers as well.
But I do want to say, despite all that, they raised the Palestinian flag. They took down the American flag off the flagpole and raised several Palestinian flags on a few flagpoles, and they burned that war criminal in effigy. There was a big paper mache or something image of him that was, he was burned in effigy. So people, despite all the repression, people made their points very strongly.
That's right. And the way I wanted to introduce the show was in this way. I was looking at some interviews with some doctors who had served in Gaza, and we have that official round number of about 40,000 that have been killed. But most of these folks who have been killed, men, women, and children, and a whole lot of women and children, are being destroyed by bombing. And bombing doesn't just remains are often not found, right? Bodies can be evaporated and can disintegrate under being bombed. So we know just from any sound medical sense that 40,000 is probably at least double that. At least double that. And
absolutely.
The displacement of millions of people, right, in real time, right in front of our eyes. So this war criminal language is not rhetorical. It's a matter of international law, the International Court of Justice, and several other international law entities have charged Israel with committing war crimes and genocide. This is not stuff that we're making up, and it is in the eyes of the international community, it is embarrassing the hell out of the United States for enabling all of this, right on up to without missing a beat to this very day.
Yeah, U.S. bombs, and they're it's just incredibly the International Court of Justice just passed on a ruling that was submitted over a year ago by 50 nations in the United Nations General Assembly about the status of the occupied territories, and they said uh, that the Zionist entity must withdraw immediately from all of occupied Palestine, and that all nations had to stop supporting financially and materially the Zionist entity, but the U.S. acts like the International Court of Justice only applies when when they're doing something they want to do, but not. They totally ignored that. They ignored the fact that there's going to be an arrest warrant out for this war criminal Netanyahu. So yeah, it's the United States bears every brunt of responsibility for what's happening in Gaza.
If ever there was a united call for sanctions and embargo on one particular entity, the whole world would say, yeah, Israel has earned that. With all due respect, Israel has earned that, and it's horrific that the United States is running point for blocking that, and they can make it stop simply by refusing to arm Israel as they have armed Israel. Over $14 billion just since October 7th, and they averaged $3.8 billion a year before October 7th. There's a reason why Israel is the 10th military superpower in the world. Small country, but with the 10th most significant military in the world. And the people of Gaza, most open camps, totally defenseless from all of that onslaught and whatnot. Now, Maya, you've got a profound history. We don't have a lot of time, but I did check you out before we brought you on here. You got a great story. We got to have you back and talk about how you got to where you are and why you roll the way you do. Right? You got a background in environmental justice. You're a lawyer for the people. We want to get down with you, don't? All right. But this one here, Tova, she been rolling longer than I have, right? And Tova been in some really rad stuff. I love the hell out of her, right? Now, Tova, there's an action coming up in Elizabeth, right? And now, just tell us what that is, and then tell us how that tradition has played out on the West Coast and really made a disruptive difference in terms of blocking material aid when it comes to human solidarity on that front. Tell us about Monday in Elizabeth.
Sure. So there's this shipping company called Zim. It's an Israeli company. It's their largest shipping company, multi-billion-dollar company, and it's the 10th largest shipping company in the world, for that matter. And they are a source of economic, strong economic part of supporting the Israeli entity, and also they're a source of political pride for that awful regime. But anyways, on the West Coast, what happened is the last time there were bombings of Gaza, and there was a Zim ship coming into the port of Oakland. We organized, and I was out there at the time, a block the boat effort led by AROC, the Arab Resource Organizing Center, and we got the community out, and with the support of the ILWU, which is the International Longshore Workers, Warehouse Union, they supported it, and we blocked the unloading of cargo from the Zim ships coming into the port of Oakland. We shut it down for days at a time until that ship was forced to turn around, and the Zim ships have been blocked pretty much forever from coming to the port of Oakland, and it really was a lot dependent on the solidarity with that union, the ILWU. Unfortunately, here in the East Coast, we have a different longshore union called the ILA, and they're actually a right-wing union that has a history of really not being in support of the struggle at all. And we've tried to reach out to them to stop the Zim shipments from coming here and supporting our picket lines to block the Zim ships here, and they won't even meet with us. And so we started organizing with port truckers who take the Zim containers to and from the port. And so we found out there's a company called Always Freight Forwarding, that contracts to take these Zim containers to and from the port by truck and get the containers delivered to wherever they're supposed to go or back to the Zim ships. And so we've got a picket lines. It's our launch of this campaign against Always Forwarding in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And it's going to be Monday, this coming Monday, the 29th at 3 p.m. And Always Forwarding is located at 701 Newark Avenue. And we're putting them on notice that they need to stop contracting the shipping of these Zim containers, or we're going to keep coming back. And so this is the kind of the launching salvo of our campaign this Monday to tell Always Forwarding that they're complicit in genocide, and they're complicit in the support of the Zionist entity's economy by contracting to move these Zim containers. And we're telling them, don't move Zim. So we're not trying to shut down the whole company. We're just trying to tell them, don't move Zim, don't contract to move Zim containers. And so we're hoping people can come out on Monday. It's near the North Elizabeth train station, so you can get there from the Newark Penn Station or from New York Penn Station, and you just go to the North Elizabeth train station.
Is that station still functional?
Yes, it doesn't. The trains don't run as frequently to North Elizabeth. They run more frequently to the regular Elizabeth train station. Yeah, so it's a longer walk from there. It's about a 24-minute walk from the regular Elizabeth train station, whereas it's maybe a 6-minute walk from the North Elizabeth one. But the regular Elizabeth trains run more frequently. So if you're willing to walk a little further, you could. There's more trains running. But either way, we want to send a message.
Us here, so they got to ride the bus. It's the 24 bus.
It was 24 bus.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right.
I became a Muslim in Elizabeth way back in 1978. So I know Elizabeth pretty good. It's a tough town to organize in, quite frankly. It's a really, it's not just that union. That town has had some really backwards energy just in terms of trying to organize it. We've got some good allies, though, on the police brutality front and on the immigrant justice front. My youth appreciate Make the Road New Jersey, right? They come out in droves when they mobilize, right? And if y'all haven't connected with them yet, they would be a wonderful ally for mass actions in Elizabeth. And we got an ICE situation in Elizabeth.
Yes.
Right? So
Elizabeth Detention Center. Yep.
That's right. We got some stuff in that funky town. All right. So so I commend you both. Tova, you've been at this a long time, and what I wanted to get at is that what you described and what happened in the Bay Area and in Oakland has a long legacy. That Bay Area Sea protest is back to the days of Paul Robeson, right? It's got has some serious organizing and demonstration of union power when union has got political clarity and principle and intention. So it's a great tradition. I just wish
They shut down the port for against South African apartheid. The
Number of
ILWU did.
times, and then you all up in that,
Yes.
right
Yep.
on.
Well, I wasn't in Oakland then, but yeah. But
Great stuff.
yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And we can't give up. I think a lot of folks thought that with the efforts to try and put down student protests and graduation season, that the Palestinian solidarity movement would take a chill pill here in the country, and not it ain't even that kind of party, right?
No.
So I'm proud of everybody that keeps turning it up. I'm exceptionally proud, especially proud of all these young folks like in Maya's generation that have been turning it up. You know, y'all are the only future we have. You're the answer to the question. I want y'all to carry yourself with that kind of intentionality, right? And some of us are trying to figure out how to live long enough so we can see y'all win.
That's right.
And my line over, come on now, right?
No lie. No lie.
So thank you both. I'm going to have put all this stuff up on our page. I do have the flyer. I use the flyer to promote the show tonight, and I also have it on our Twitter on my Twitter page, so we can help y'all get that out. Right? Keep doing what you're doing.
And
Free
so,
Palestine. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Donna.
I
Go ahead.
just told. I just wanted to let you know. I looked it up for the 24 bus. When it brings you into there, it drops. It takes them to the intersection of Newark Avenue at North Avenue.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay, so it drops off right there.
Right there.
But
Wonderful.
we
Thank you
also
so
got a
much.
question we got to ask Maya though.
That's right. That's right. It's Maya's first time.
Mhm.
We didn't even do
My
that with Shernaleria. We should have done it with Shernaleria too. That probably would have helped her just feel a little better too. But we
exactly.
all missed that. I'll take responsibility for that. But go ahead, Donna. Answer the ritual question.
So, Maya, thank you for being here. This is a hip hop political show. And you trekking down to DC, getting ready to do these actions. What hip hop artist, individual, group do you listen to keep you focused, inspired, and just getting ready for what you're about to do on any given day?
That's a great question. Probably I'd pick Lauryn Hill.
Okay. All right.
Jersey.
A
Jersey.
Lauren,
classic. Love.
Lauren is back doing a thing. So yes.
Just an album that keeps, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, an album that keeps giving. Thanks for the question.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you
We gotta
seen
have you back.
Paige with her baby a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like all in my room, like, yeah, oh, Lauren's back. All is well. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm proud of both of you. Keep turning it up. Right? You have an open mic here at All Politics Are Local. You know, you need to report something out. Let us know when we figure out how to get it in. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
This is
so
a
much.
wonderful show.
Thank,
Thank you
No,
all so
right
thank,
on.
much.
Right on, y'all. Right on. Good stuff. Good stuff. And they turning it up for real. They're turning it up for real, and up against a whole lot. I mean, the media and the police are, you know, othering. They're the other. You know, it's all the stuff that Trump and all them crazy folks that are mobilizing around him. They don't get half of the critical attention and that these young people trying to do this work. They're trying to stop this genocide. You know, we're looking at, you know, as we transition to the next segment, we're looking at Israel's last push for a manifest destiny.
Mhm.
I don't know if you can remember. Let me put on my history hat for a minute. James K. Polk was the president, was the sea to shining sea president before Abe Lincoln, that pushed the American frontier as we know it from the Louisiana area all the way to California. And he only had one term as president, right? That was the manifest destiny, right? They are trying to plow through Gaza and the West Bank and in their effort to create a manifest destiny scenario for Israel. It's obscene. It's obscene. Let's now we got our other guest coming on. Is Tahir on yet?
No, we don't see the 8 o'clock guests yet in the
Because
green room.
you want me to call? Let me make
really
a,
help to make that shift, you know. But yet Tahir has been on before. Tahir is responsible for the Trek Center. That was his community give back. He was in there.
Oh, okay.
We've had him on before, but he was key in the development of the Trek Center. That is now the home of the Temple of Hip Hop,
Okay.
right? And there were some things he wanted to share out. So I hope he can get on it. And we want to thank Marquis for being the link to that young man, right? Because that
And
young
what else happens at the Trek Center? Is
people
it
still use it,
like the community?
but that's now the Temple of Hip Hop. I don't know if they own it now, but I know
Okay.
they manage it. But they may be. I'm not absolutely sure about whether or not they own it. But I know the city gave it up and turned it over to them.
Okay.
Because some of our programs are based right at the Trek Center, and I don't even know if they're still there. The Newark Street Academy. We even need to get them on too. They're a very important part of our ecosystem. One of the oldest arms of the community-based violence intervention ecosystem. It was at the Trek Center that was their longest home.
Right.
And I don't know if they're still there, but I will reach out to their leadership to clarify that. This is that, and I was really hoping the little brother could come up because we just had really three, because we started talking about this with the disciples. This is really heavy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dark energy.
Yeah.
Wanted to, was looking forward to the shift in our content, some light, right, and some basic stuff. Donna, let's pivot. I know where we can pivot, right? Tomorrow,
Yeah,
my young man.
we're gonna have him on next week.
Who you gonna bring on? We had, huh?
Go ahead, Scott.
Who you gonna bring on?
Chino.
Yeah, we had. Chino was on a few weeks ago.
No, I didn't know that. I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Chino is, whew, he's putting work in. So
Very proud of Chino.
hmm
Right. So go ahead and tell her. Go ahead and lift up the picnic.
So tomorrow, Returning Citizen Support Group, they're having their annual cookout, and it's going to
Wait,
be.
hold up, Miss Donna. Hold up. What return? Where they coming from? Where they returning citizens? Where they coming from? They coming from Alabama? They coming from Ukraine? Where they returning from?
Look, it seems like Alabama coming from. They've been behind the wall in prison, coming back home to reenter into their life and uh, to get back to living and just and they're citizens. I can remember when there was struggles about whether it was training, going to school, and you know, I remember Reverend Jackson and Bishop Jackson used to say, they're coming home. We have to prepare them to come home. So, just because they're locked up behind the wall, they are coming home, and we want to help them out. So, Returning Citizen Support Group does just that. They're a support group that meets every Thursday over at Prince Street, 32 Prince Street,
The Greater
and
Conservancy of Newark. That's what
and
that space is.
in the evening, and
Great
they're
space.
there circle, and they're there, they have guest speakers, um there to listen, to offer services, anything from A to Z, housing, jobs, training, whatever it is that you need that's inside the box, outside the box. So they've been doing this annual cookout, and it's tomorrow from 12 noon to 6 p.m., located at the same place that they meet, 32 Prince Street, and come out. It's going to be fun, games, food, music, and refreshments, and catch up and just see. And you'll be surprised, from a legislative standpoint. I know um, when I first went the first time, they were working with removing. Good Lord, I just lost it. What did I lose? Shit, legislation in terms of whatever. I could see the document in my hand, but the legislation they did. So I'll even tell you until it comes back to me that in New Jersey, persons that have been incarcerated at one point, it was very hard for them to get their right back to vote. They had to wait a period of time. Then they questioned,
Maxed out. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes it was denied too, because the paperwork wasn't cleared up or whatever the case may be. It took this to the legislative body, and at the beginning, the legislature stated that to give the right to vote to people that are on parole, probation, and behind the wall. They even went as far as the persons behind the wall, and that is not foreign in the United States. In is it Maine and Vermont? Those are the two states. Two states or maybe more where they take polls into the prisons and they vote. Um, so that was their first ask. It did not happen. They were able to get persons on parole and probation the right to vote. So that brought in many voters who are often impacted by legislation first, in terms of what they can do, what they can't do. So this group meets to make sure that their rights are being restored and met, and that they can be a part of the conversation.
And they were
What?
just for some more background. One of the things that they were best known for, and still are, is
Hmm.
that they came up with something called "Meet Them at the Gate," meaning
Yes.
that when they got word that somebody was getting ready to be released
Hmm.
from their own ranks, and more often it was some of them who actually did time with the person coming out. That when it was time for them to come out, they were met at the gate by somebody that knew them, that loves them, and starts them on the path to getting some support so they can, re-enter the community in a way that doesn't find them going back in, right? And that's a very, very popular program that they do all over. Wherever we got prisons in Jersey, we
Hmm.
got to meet them at the gate, right? They also were key in exposing the horror show of how female prisoners were being abused at Edna Mahan
Hmm.
facility, right? I had Chino on in the context of a double conversation, the governor signing the clemency project to begin a
Hmm.
clemency project, uh, and the no, now you lost your train of thought. I'm losing mine.
Oh, mine was Article 13 being removed from the Constitution. I believe they're still working on that. I have to catch up. I'll ask Chino about that when he comes on.
So Chino was supposed to be on tonight.
No, next week.
He was on a few weeks ago. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
had
yeah,
him on with Rebecca Uwekwe from the ACLU
I
Hmm.
because she
remember.
drove the clemency project
Yeah.
question from her perch with the ACLU, and the governor used Juneteenth to sign the executive order, right? And a whole lot of folks were over. Were they at your pastor's church? Were they at your
Yes,
church? Yeah,
St.
they were
James A.
at your
Church. That's
church.
right.
Yeah, they packed the house for that.
That's
They
right.
packed the house.
They showed
With
up.
that.
That's
This is
right.
one of the things the governor did right that we ain't mad at him about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they have done it. There was one time a
Expungement.
tree
Expungement was the other issue. I'm sorry. I'm just
expungements
coming
and
back to it.
everything. And I know
Backlog
Assemblyman.
and expungement has been ridiculous. Folks
Well,
can't
they
get
had. I know
their
Assembly Wimberley had done some work on that, but what they're doing right is they're starting the process behind the wall. They're not waiting till the person gets out and everything. So they start the relationship behind the wall. So the relationship is already connected when they, like you said, are meeting them at the gate and everything is set in order. Um, whether it's and it could be housing, supporting, setting them up, whatever the ask is be, us as community leaders try to meet them where the need is. So, and we
Mhm.
glad that they're asking and that they, understand that they're a part of an important part of our community as
When did
well.
they start their meetings? I can
Um,
remember when I met Chino. It was right before COVID.
when did they start their meetings? Oh my
And I know it wasn't long before that, but as soon as they started, there was gravity around them right away in a very reputable kind. In fact, we had a tragedy here locally, and I need to lift this up uh, because she's also important to our community-based violence intervention ecosystem. Denise Williamson lost a former partner by way of suicide
God.
uh, at at their at the space where Denise works with our our kids last week, and her mother, uh, who's a psychologist, literally was working with them, meaning returning citizens in their early meetings, right, with their trauma informed training, right. So they really, they really have developed that trauma informed lens to develop, those supports for those brothers and sisters coming home. And Jersey is a state that ages you up. You could be 17, your first offense and whatnot, and they give you 30 years just because
Oh my
they get
gosh.
down like that. So folks are coming home from long bids with a lot of needs, you know.
And I'm
Uh,
glad the project that they're doing, the education project that they're doing with Rutgers, and that I believe was a tipping point. And some of the professors that they're coming home with master's degrees and continue finishing up. I know,
Luis has got his master's.
yeah, and one of them came home with his master's and went right back and got his PhD, and he may be finished right now. And he's from the Camden area, and he's been on before as well.
Mhm.
Uh, but they are, and listen, the legislators when they started the one with the voting, and of course uh, it was something that one of our Democrat legislators championed. But when they seen how they were getting the support of these young men and what they were bringing to the table, other people became interested as well. And they clearly let them know, listen, we don't support, but you know, when it's in our wheelbarrow, we will let you know. But it's interesting. People are watching.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we look forward to having Chino back. Look forward to.
I
I got to
actually,
push too.
I ran into Chino at the men's meeting that Councilman Dupre Kelly do.
Hmm.
So he's there along with a whole group of brothers. It was good to see him. You
Mhm.
know, so
And
And the
it's
work.
Anton Henshaw from Camden who's doing the
Yeah,
work.
Tony.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, that it's from Tone that I learned about meet him at the gate.
Yeah,
That's
he
how.
started, and that came from Tone's heart. Then he got some pushback, and then some other organization wanted to do. People don't. They see you doing it. Nobody wants to do it. Then they see you do it. Then they copy. It's amazing. So just keep pushing.
But
I
no,
like
folks
like
appreciate
that.
also.
I like that when I see them brothers, all at the gate when other brothers are coming home from them long bids.
Hmm.
Because they all can relate to walking out of there. You
Right.
know,
Hmm.
and so when another one of them brothers finally make it out, I mean, it's comforting to see the families and the family to have all of that support.
Do you remember Attorney Danita Judge? Do you know Danita?
I
Not
don't.
Saeed?
personally. I've seen her at some. We've crossed paths at some rallies.
Yeah, Danita. I remember she was trying to do work, and she was doing this. Ooh, I was still at the court, and and when they first were trying to do this with the voting project, and one of the concerns is like most of the prisons are like South Jersey, but many of the people that are in those prisons are from North Jersey. So their vote, but where does the vote go? And I remember that was a question and everything. Like it doesn't really go because that's not their home. Their home is up here, whether it be Essex County, Union County, or something like that. But most of them are, below in Camden and down, as far as close Wildwood and all of those areas.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
word about him. Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask Donna. So finish your thought because I want to ask another question.
No, I just wanted to lift up the space that they're in. Right now, Prince Street, the heart of the hood, right, is a rundown area for a long time, right? But
Observatory.
that particular space is an environmental oasis.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful space, right? It's
Marine.
literally a park, garden, training, an environmental training ground, right in the heart of, right on Prince Street in Springfield Avenue, right? And it's a really, so where am I going, right? you're dealing with trauma, you're dealing with pain, you're dealing with the need to be supported, trying to transition coming from the inside back outside. The environment that you spend your time in for
I
healing
think
matters.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I get a word that Tahir is in the background?
I don't see it.
Okay.
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 But in that space, and they have really attached themselves to that space, recognizing
I see
the,
Marquis, but I don't see him.
the value of its healthiness. Let's bring him on and transition him out. So yeah, so we look forward to having Chino Ortez from King Street returning citizens next week, and their annual cookout is the Sister Ma Greater Conservancy in New York. New York.
So I was all set to be on at 6, and I had some T-Mobile problems, and come to find out, if anybody got T-Mobile, um, one of the towers out in this area, and they're working on it currently. So I'm surprised they rebooted me and sent a signal out again, but they were having shoddy internet problems, and
I
I
went
noticed.
by the charger thinking something's wrong with my charger.
And I was on the phone for like an hour, and I remember because we was on the meeting the other night, you couldn't hear me, and I was going in and out.
Right, right, right. All right. Well, Marquise has come. All right. So what's up? Talk to us.
Pastor,
Hello, everybody.
how you
I'm
doing?
sorry,
What's up,
I was
brother?
looking for Tahir to be on. He must didn't get the link. Uh, I know they sent the link out, but he running around for tomorrow camp. I'm all the way in Jamaica.
All right. Put that pina colada front and center. What's that pina colada?
But I just wanted to come on just to talk
Thank
about tomorrow. Because that is my brother. You know, I want to make sure that he gets his plug in. So I just jumped on for him. But tomorrow is Tahir Whitehead annual football camp. This is the 10th year anniversary of this camp, giving back to young people. We have over 200 young people that's going to be out there for a free camp, getting free drills, being trained by some NFL greats who's going to be out there, some legends in our community who've been coaching for years, some of our current coaches, new coaches, just getting our children ready for this upcoming season. We got part one season coming up.
hmm
We got high school football season coming up. So they're getting firsthand drills on how to get ready for their season. And they're getting it from one of our greats, a Tahir Whitehead, who do this every year. There's everything come out of his pocket just to get back to our community.
Well, thank you. And I know one of the things they were going to talk to you about the importance of people when they leave and go play in the NFL, when they come back to the community. How is that impact received, and how important is that?
It's very important because I believe our young people need to see people that's alive, that's doing great things. So many times people say, well, why this school is dead? Why that school is dead? It's because you got dead people names on them who these kids can't really relate to. But when you have people who that they can talk to, who they communicate with, who reach out to them like Tahir, who comes out every year to motivate and mentor our young people, they need to see more of that. And we get more of that in our community, then we can have a better community because our young people again get that motivation to believe again.
That's right. And what's
And
Tahir? He's still doing that. He was very. He gave when he went to the financial how he wanted people to understand how to deal with their finances. He put so much emphasis on that. Is that still a part of what he's doing when he comes and speak to the young people?
yeah, that's all part of what we do. Tahir Whitehead Foundation is out here to really motivate our young people, to make sure that they're financially ready and their life skill ready. Because we can't just put a football in their hand. We got to also give them some knowledge and tools in order to be successful in the community. Tahir just one of the many greats that we still got in our community, still doing it. We got 5 boys who right now in the NFL who's giving back. We got Kamoko True. We got Amir Smith Marset. We got Ali Kwan Muhammad. Just we got a few, just to name a few of our young
Yeah.
our athletes that went to the NFL, come back, give back to the community. And I'm glad to say that Tahir been the leader. He been the leader to show them that we have to get back to where we come from.
Well, whether it's NFL or NBA, or maybe you got to do something in the community just to, bring them back, and whether it's a meet and greet, and just so we can get to know them and do that, and like right before the season or after the season, just so people can just feel in touch and ask questions and everything. And I know it makes them feel good too when they come back and they get to come back and talk to the students as well.
Absolutely, but we as a community got love on them.
That's right.
We can't just keep asking them to come back and back and not show them that love and appreciation. They also need some
Gotta
love
help
and
build.
appreciation as well.
That's
We
right.
gotta help build.
Yes, we got to build. We got to build. And as long as we keep on building and we keep on bringing these guys back to talk to these young people, I think our community get better because they can relate to them. You can't keep beating Malcolm X, Dr. King, Marcus Garvey in the head when we got people that's here that's doing the work, who's getting it done. We got a legend, Larry Ham, who is a legendary person in the community that we should be paying homage to because he's here. They could touch him, they could
That's
talk
right.
to him, they can relate to him. We got to do more of that and stop, idolizing people that we can't touch, that we can't have a relationship with, but we have people in our community that we can talk to.
I'm not going to take you too far off your course and to take you too away much from your all-inclusive vacation, but the Larry, my nephew, decided not to go to college, and he went the vocation route, and he's an electrician in HVAC, and he graduated today. And Larry was the keynote speaker. He brought he had church today. Larry can go from here to here, and he's like, his famous. I probably won't be asked back, so I'm just gonna leave it all here and everything.
That's
But
right.
and people appreciate it, and they need to hear. So and
Listen, I call him Professor.
that's
I love
right.
to hear. I love to hear him. Every time I hear Larry speak, I know I'm gonna get a lesson. So I
That's
always got
right.
my pen and my notebook with me
Exactly.
because I'm taking
Exactly.
notes.
But go to my page. It's on the if you get the time. I taped his whole commencement speech today.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, tell when you said we need to love and stop. What's the one thing we can do when our NFL players are leaving the community to go? What's one way we can love on them?
Well, we gotta support them. We gotta make sure that we show them love and support them. Even if it's going when they in town, going to support them at a game. When it's just
Hmm.
recognizing them for the good work they're doing. I just believe that in black communities, that's what we lack. We don't love on our athletes. We don't love on our
Uh-oh.
No, we be robbing them. This stuff
Yeah.
is
They
crazy.
get ready to have the reggae party.
That's that.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
the only ones that rob and kill our stars.
Mm.
It's crazy. That's how sick this thing has gotten us. You know, and I hope we can get him back because he was on a roll.
Here's
You
what,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I do.
I think what was important though, what he said that for the most part, these young kids see dead people names on buildings,
Hmm.
right, of these great athletes, but they don't get an opportunity to interface with them. Could you imagine if young people had gotten an opportunity to interface with Julius Irving when he was coming through?
I did.
I
I can
did.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I did.
can.
got
Oklahoma
an,
Fish that
Invitational
say
Camp,
Pittsburgh.
3 years
yeah.
in a row, 3 summers in a row. I met him. I do remember
Well,
that.
and think
I'm
about it,
sorry
Michael
about that.
Jordan.
It's okay.
And think about had they got an opportunity. Marquise, what we're talking about is the statements you made when you said that these young people don't get an opportunity to interface with these people who got these dead names on buildings, right? These are
Yeah,
great folks, but these kids have never had an opportunity to meet or interface with them. And I was saying to myself, imagine had we had an opportunity to interface with the Jordans of the world, the Julius Irvings of the world, right? But what happens is once these people get that kind of money, they feed the cannon, right?
that's
And
right.
they don't even come out to visit. Not even. I mean, you see you may see Shaq every now and then, right?
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
he's not leading a basketball camp, right?
Hmm.
Come back every
Never see
year
a basketball
to
game.
see that camp. But
Yeah,
imagine,
that's true. That's true. Like I tell everybody every day, like what motivated me when I did Black History in my school, when I did my projects, I didn't do stories on people that I never met. I did stories on people like Carnell West, you know, who I met in a lecture. I did it on Larry Ham. I did it on Amir Baraka. You know,
Mhm.
people who I can relate to and I could talk
So
to and I can have a conversation with. And,
Mhm.
you know, that's what I love to do because I like to give people their flowers while they can smell them. You know,
Right. Right.
what left me at peace when Amiri left here was in one of my last conversations, I was in Robert Tree Hotel and he was talking about how he dreamed about this city, us taking over this city. He said, "This
Right.
y'all city. Y'all need to take this over," and that left me comfort because I was
Right.
able to have that conversation with him. And people
right,
talk about loyalty. My loyalty was when he sat there and talked to me. He said, "Have my son's back,"
that's
and that's
right.
why I'm loyal to the Baraccas to this
Right.
Right.
day
He
because I
took
made
And,
his
that
child
promise
with
to
him.
him.
That's right.
Right.
and thank
Right.
God he asked because he gave a lot. Amiri gave a lot of himself for a long time. I did want to
You know,
say, I said,
you
go
just
ahead.
let me just add something to what he just said.
Mhm.
I think that's important. What he said to you when he said we could take over this city. He said something broader to me. You know, when he came to the studio, he would say, and I told him man this. He would always say there were 26. They were 26 states where black people populated, and he said in those 27 states, he said there are cities, and he said that that's what we populate in those cities. Right? And he said our focus would be to take over those cities, right?
Hmm.
Wherever we populate. And what we didn't have when he was telling those stories, and I'm gonna bring this home to you, Marquis, because you part of this. We didn't have we didn't have Middy at that time being the genius he is for winning elections, right? And he didn't have that team now. But now he got that. So what Amiri said about taking over our city, which has been done, now we're talking about taking over the state. But if we
Exactly.
Mhm.
build that model that we can take over the city and the state, we then need to do what Amiri said to me. We can take over those other 27 states where we populate at. Why? Because that's the formula.
We could take over the country.
Yes.
You know, we take over the country.
Well,
I
we
remember
need.
when Barack Obama ran in 2008. Everybody said he couldn't do it. He ain't gonna make it. I was one of the young people, first ones that say Barack Obama gonna be the president. You
Right,
Mhm.
know, I
right.
believed it, and just like I
Right.
believe that Ras Barack is gonna be the first black
No
governor of
doubt.
the state of New Jersey. Just like I
Mhm.
believe that Kamala Harris is gonna be the first black woman to be the
Right.
president of this country. You know, we gotta believe in ourselves because if we don't
That's
believe
right.
in ourselves, nobody gonna believe in us. And
Right.
I believe in my people until I go to my grave. Can't
Right.
nobody make me stop believing in my people.
Right.
Before two things in 2008, I can remember being at a block party in Newark, watching the Democratic convention when Barack got the when President Obama got the nomination, and I remember us. They had the big screen out. I think it was Commerce Street because I remember the club
Yeah,
right there.
common shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they had the big projector out, and how everybody when that number came through and he got that number to get the Democratic nomination. It was a beautiful night. I just went and pulled that photo because I think it was going to be another beautiful night at the Democratic convention. And the other thing, when you was talking about um, when the players come to town and things like that to take go out and support them. Preseason starts in August 6th. And I was just looking at preseason Giants. And those preseason games, you can get tickets for like $10. So
Mm-hmm.
when people who can't normally, go to games are not, that the tickets have risen since over the years. So but for the preseason they have them really like at $6, $10, and you can get mass transportation there. So if the weather is nice in August, it starts August 6th. The first game is Detroit Lions against the Giants. If you can, that's a good before you go back to school. Go out to the game. That's a good thing to do. That's all I wanted to say. And
I
because
just
I know I had an opportunity to take one of my football players who was really, really good, and I was surprised that he had never, as good as this kid was in basketball, none of the coaches had taken the kids to a NFL game to see that. And I was, and what it did for him, it was amazing. So you're right; they have to be able to see and touch these things. I'm sorry, Marquise.
I just want to bring it back home for y'all. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Tahir Whitehead football camp, 10th annual football camp at Weequahic High School, 10 a.m. Free camp. Take your kids, bring your kids out, and be able to touch on Tahir Whitehead and all the NFL greats who are going to come out and mentor our young people, give them the drills and skills that they need in order to have a successful football season in Newark. Newark is on the map, y'all, and we about
Yeah,
to take over the state.
Do they
yeah,
have to register or they can just come?
They can register, still registration up. If you go on the City of Newark website, the flyer is up, or you can come that day, come and register your child, and just bring their cleats, bring some shorts, and get ready to go to work.
Okay.
yeah. Hey, Marquise, we just want to say thank you, man, for the great work you do too, right? Yeah, you always lifting other people up, and so we just want to give you your props and say thank you, right, for doing that because we see you too, right? For all the work you do, man, and you know, I thank you, man, because it's always with them young people in mind, and you a young person to me and Zaid, so but you always doing work for them young kids, brother. So we
Yeah,
appreciate
y'all mentor me, man. I look at y'all as mentors, like uncles in the community. And
that.
I'm keep on
Big
doing.
on.
Listen, Tahir get on me all the time. He like, man, you always recognize the people who gonna recognize you. I said,
There you
man,
go.
my reward
Yeah.
is when God bring me home. That's my reward. I'm not
Yeah,
looking
It'll.
for no reward here, man.
Well,
yeah,
we're going to thank you and thank you for not thinking, Robbie, not to just stop doing. You're obviously taking some time for yourself. Before things get in the
Listen,
thick of things.
one of my best friends from high school is getting married in Jamaica.
You
He threw me
ah,
in the wedding, so I'm here.
you threw
yeah,
you in.
He threw me in. I'm here. We got an
Last
all white dinner
will
tonight. They about to
matters.
kill me because we got an all white dinner and I stepped away.
yeah.
Well, go ahead, but we
Well, listen,
appreciate thank
Marquis,
you
we
for taking the
appreciate you taking
time.
time to come on the show and talk about your boy. You know what I mean? We'll keep plugging it to the end of the show.
If y'all want to pull up tomorrow, Ed, get your little interview. Pull up, you get a live interview with Tahir. I'll make sure that happens.
All right, all right,
Have a good time.
All right, thank y'all.
all
Thanks,
right,
y'all.
Marquis.
Love
Peace.
y'all. Love y'all,
Love
Love you
brother.
you.
more.
Love you, sis.
All right.
That's beautiful.
Zaid, it's crazy, man. I thank God that I've lived long enough to see some of these young brothers. You know, but I don't know about you, Zaid. Zaid, I ain't in no way tired though, brother.
I
You know
know
what I
that's
mean?
right. I know
I'm,
that's
I'm. Listen, I feel like Farrakhan. I'm a down the field, brother. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Listen,
Ain't no
Louis
retirement.
Farrakhan is 91 years old,
Keep
Exactly,
it
brother.
on.
and he's still ticking.
Ain't no retirement, brother, for this. You know what I mean? You know, I think I heard. I can't remember who I heard say it, but they said you retired when you in the grave. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
All time to sleep.
Keep pushing,
Yeah,
man.
folks thought I was crazy when I retired from the new Black Panther Party. I said, no, I just retired to clear space so some other folks can grow. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
stop raising hell.
nah.
Yeah.
This this work, man, is and Zaid, I wouldn't know any other way to do it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't, man. You know, I mean, for me, because when you sow into other people's lives, right? Especially the ones who want to receive it. When you sow into their lives, right, you can watch that. I mean, because if you had known Bashir 35 years ago, right, and it's hard for me to believe I met him 35 years ago,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
But if you met
They
him
were in
30,
high school.
yeah,
That's right. They started coming
he
to my
was right
to
high
my
school.
lectures and my films talks
Yeah,
at the library when they were in high school. It was a bunch of them.
yeah,
Rodney Jackson, T.J. Whitaker. It was Hakeem.
yeah,
They were in high school. They were babies.
right. You
Mhm.
think about that and you look at them now and you say, wow, and the fact that he was listening,
Mhm.
it's amazing to me, right? I'm like, wow, I mean, something I said, you actually heard it
Mhm.
and it woke you up, and here we are. You are now a 55-year-old man. And when I met you, you're 19 years old. How
Mhm.
could that be?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You show up all the time too, Ed. You should
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
That's
No,
What's that amazing story? That first conversation y'all had?
who's
you,
that?
you invest,
yeah.
you invest you.
It wasn't Zaid. He called me a nigga, man.
You called me, yeah.
He,
You try to tell him, you try to put him on to the answer. That nigga. You
that
know?
dude, hey, Shadow, he went to Zaid. He went to a good friend, another friend of ours, and said, "Why that nigga reading the front page of the paper?" Yeah,
He
he
ain't
said,
read the sports section like us.
"Huh?"
You read the front page.
Yeah, he said that nigga don't read the sports page. You know what I mean? And then,
What was interesting, he sat there and observed you, and
yeah,
that's and it,
and
and
then
it
On
raised
your
a
watch.
question in his mind.
yeah,
You know, what's that? Which obviously has led him, as Robert Ross said, two roads.
and when he asked me that, Zaid, I told him why. Right? I said Malcolm X once said that if you ever want to hide something from the black man and woman, just put it on the front page of New York Times. He said never read it. He said, "Who's that nigga?"
That nigga, that's right.
Everybody was a nigga to this guy, man. You know what I mean?
Well, just think if you're hanging out and how you can be in some circles and that word just nigga, nigga, and it's so funny because I just went back and watched. We watched the other night. Eddie Murphy loved on Richard Pryor.
Right.
And the tribute they gave, it was so funny. And he walked in with four boxers. It was Sugar Ray. It was four boxers: Muhammad Ali, George, and I'm trying to think the other one in front. Tom Yern. All four of them. They walked in, and it was really nice. And then everybody, uh, different comedians came and showed love. And now he said we can be anywhere, and but we chose to be here. And that's what's his name that used to be real healthy. He had the farm with the children. The comedian
Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory, and said, "Look, we chose to be here tonight." And it was a really big. I'm glad that I had just came upon that and watched it from beginning and just to watch. But Richard Pryor, when he had went to Africa, he said he didn't hear
He
the
didn't see
word
no
nigger.
niggas.
Yeah,
He went to Zimbabwe
and didn't say it
right after
after
their
that.
independence.
hmm
That's right. It was very proud people. That was a very good time for Zimbabwe. He didn't
He
see
is a
no niggas.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he said, man. He said,
Definitely what
I
he said.
remember, I remember when he did that stand up. He said,
Mhm.
when I went to Africa, he said, I didn't see no niggas. Isn't that something?
Yep.
Mhm.
You
And
know?
how he took you way out there and then he brought you back. He was like,
Yeah,
wow. He was a truly a
yeah.
he was
Dude.
And
you phenomenal beyond even when he did that skit about the first black president. To go back and watch that skit
and
is
remember, he said after that, Donna, he said, I'm gonna stop calling my people niggas.
yes, he did. Yeah, I
I'm
said
done,
that. Yeah,
right?
but he was remarkable. Always teaching.
Yeah,
You had to think about it and still teaching. I'm glad that people were recording.
yeah. But that's why what Marquis said is so important. I think that we've got to love on black people, period, right?
That's
We've got
right.
to love on each other,
That's
right?
right.
Because I think that, that's what we are, man. There's no way, because even what you think about what Mayor Baraka said uh, at the funeral for the congressman, right? When he said that, he wanted to talk to the black people to the black elected officials in that room who look like him, right? You know what kind of courage that took in front of Joe D, the governor, and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Most of our Negroes in the Soprano state ain't even gonna do that.
Yeah. You know what
Mhm.
kind of courage that took?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
To be able to say that.
And I know he pissed them all off too, but
Oh
that
That's
yeah.
right.
they
Yeah.
had to
Some
just
But
shut up and take it.
people got up and left.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Some
that's
of those
right.
other people. And
listen, you go
you know,
ahead.
and remember that statement is on video for everybody to go back and see.
And they can
And
slice up how it is, but whatever,
yeah,
But
and that
listen, Mayor soon to be governor is on purpose. I remember we sat in that room when he gave Dr. King. He was a guest speaker for the Dr. King event, and when he spoke, I was like, Mayor Baraka is just even from the time he made the announcement, he said when he left, before he came, when he was a maid, he had his Timbs and his jeans on. This time he came in a suit. You know, he's on purpose.
But the thing is, you know, we have a right to talk to our people that way,
That's
We
right.
sure
right?
do.
We have a right to do that.
They talk to
You
their
know,
people that way.
that's right. So you know, if we say that, you know, I
We always
remember,
got to be the exception.
huh?
Huh?
We always got to be the damn exception.
So,
Yeah, you
or
know,
make people not make people feel
remember hearing,
uncomfortable.
I remember hearing Minister Farrakhan say one time, he said that, you know, when he went to Jamaica, he said that the brothers in the parliament would speak one way. He said, but when you saw them back in the yard, he said, nah, man. He said, man, we don't talk like that, man. You know, he
Yeah.
said, this is how we
The
talk, man.
Queen's English, or yeah,
Right.
that's right.
So you know, and he was saying, you know, that, you know, every now and then, Zaid, I think that we you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, you gotta do that all the time, but if you have that mass audience
Yeah.
and all those elected officials in that audience at one time, and there's something you want to say to those congressional leaders,
Time.
to the local leaders, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Seize the
To my
time.
community, and you need to
Yeah,
listen. I after chairman, chairman spoke. We got to vote. You got to do this. Education. What's going on? Hit Gaza. Hit what they're trying to do. I got up and I had to take my great nephew to the bathroom, and I went in the bathroom, and a family member was attending her family um her family member who was graduating, and she's like, they're turning this into a political event. We didn't come here for that. We came here for graduation. I had to turn around. I was like, no, you have to speak to your audience when you have the opportunity. You may not have this opportunity tomorrow,
yeah,
and that in somebody who clearly didn't hear it, the message, and don't understand where we are in this day
Right.
and age.
It's a very
yeah,
serious time. Now we got
DJ,
minutes left. Here come DJ Rhino.
DJ, with the Eric B and Rakim.
Hey, Rhino.
Make 'em clap to this.
Hey, Rhino, you
What's
gotta,
up?
you gotta get better, man, at coming on and get your time, brother. You know what I mean? Because we when you don't come on that time, we be eating up your time. You should have been on at 8:30. We ate up all of your time.
That's right, but
Nah, but yeah, but
he's
y'all had
coming the
somebody
door.
on at 8:30. Somebody, y'all was still talking to Marquis.
No, we were only
No,
doing.
He came on late.
because he came on because Tahir didn't come. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Nah,
But
it's your
we
time.
eat your time up when you ain't here. We be like, I'm looking for you, and I'm saying, well, maybe you're not coming on. But now
But you
we'll
came through the door.
we-
You said it before. You never met the Mike McTaj no more. Come on, tell
go
me
ahead,
about that
bro.
T-shirt. What's going on? Why we got that Eric B?
Well, today's the anniversary of their sophomore album, Follow the Leader.
Oh
Follow the
yeah,
leader. Okay,
that was
that's
the
a nice
month.
shirt too.
Yeah, that was a big one. I was had Follow the Leader, Microphone Fiend, had a few joints on there, but that was the sophomore album. Everybody, back in those days, especially, even now, but back in those days, especially, you had there was a lot of pressure on you when it came down to your sophomore album. Like, if you had a hit, if your first album was a hit, if your debut
It got
was
to be at least as good.
at least
Yeah.
that's good. That's right. Yeah. And that was always hard, especially in hip hop, man. That was always hard to match that first hit, that first album that was a hit. But Follow the Leader pulled through.
Mm-hmm.
And so today is the anniversary of the Follow the Leader album.
What year is that? How many years we
I
talking?
think that was 1988.
Ooh,
Another one.
okay.
When we were talking about 1988, that's that year.
That was
So
a
much
good
came
year.
out in that year.
Yeah.
Man.
That
Out of
was
high
a good year yeah, it was a good year for the music.
Yeah. There was there was such a variety in hip hop back during
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
And did he write all his rhymes like he did the most? I thought I was a donut. You try, and the voice, is just, And I had a shirt like thought I was a donut, and didn't have the rest. And on the back, it had thought I was a donut, and had a donut on the back, and then on the back it said those who know. It will finish the statement and everything. So
Yeah. Also, though, I was also checking out Rakim's recent album. He recently put out, I would say, an EP because it's only 7 songs on there. I didn't realize it was going to be 7 songs, but I just heard it for the first time today. I picked it up, and there's 7 songs on there. And what it is really, it's more like a compilation album produced by Rakim. Rakim basically he did all of the beats. He recorded all of the tracks himself. He's on all of the choruses and the hooks and stuff in the songs, but he's got like so many people on the album that it's more like a compilation album. He's got verses from brothers who passed, like Fred the Godson and Prodigy. He's got a prayer on there from DMX. And he's also got he's got Joel Ortiz. He's got Crooked Eye on there. He's got Method Man. He's got Cannabis. He's got a bunch of folks on there. So it's more like a compilation album. Corrupt and Master Killer also on there. They're on the first single called Be Ill. But yeah, it's a nice little collection of work, and it's good to hear. I got to hear it a couple more times because excuse me, I'm still trying to absorb the fact that these tracks, the tracks are actually Rakim. That all of the cuts and scratches are Rakim. So I got to listen to it and really absorb it in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And listen to it that way. But I can say right now, my favorite cuts on the album are the last two cuts.
The last two.
One is called International, and then the other one is called Sign of Seven. And those two stood out the most for me. But so if you come across it, definitely look out for that album. Look out for those two songs, International, which is a real dope song, I think, and Sign of Seven. But the name of the album is what is the name of the album? God's my bad.
That's already right here. God's Network Rebirth.
God's Network. There you go. Because I was going to say Rebirth.
With the 7 in there, but
Yeah.
Ari,
Yep,
on another plane.
Yeah, so that's what I was listening to earlier today. Checking that out.
Donna comes on, kicking rhymes, and she giving you an assist.
Yeah, right. Donna be ready for the hip hop.
Pretty cool for an old lady.
For the 50-year anniversary, I can get with that 50-year. Those, but who else is LL also coming out with a new album?
Yeah, his album is I think it's September 6th or September 3rd. I believe it's the 6th, but that's when it's supposed to drop. I was trying to get that one today too when I was getting the Rakim, but it hasn't dropped yet. But yeah, it's called The Force, and the whole album is produced by Q-Tip.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. The last couple of singles, the first one was The Force, and then he put out another one with Fat Joe and Rick Ross. Saturday Night Special. I'm losing my title. Saturday Night Special. That was the second one with Rick Ross and Fat Joe. And then he just recently put out another one called Passion, which is real nice. And he got a video for that one as well. He's got a video for all of these, so definitely check it out. But that one I'm really, really excited for. I'm still looking for that one by LL Cool J, and I'm still looking out for this Nas and DJ Premier album. Those are the ones that I'm most excited about right now. So we're gonna look out for those.
Okay.
But that's it. It's like I was saying before, at the last couple of shows, I haven't been doing the shake up at all on Twitch, but I have been doing a lot of crate sessions. I've been doing crate sessions with CMZ where I'm going through all of the vinyl.
God, I miss my records.
Yeah, man. And so today I did one. It was we were on crate 12. So the next one probably would be Sunday. I'll be doing crate 13. I've just been combing through all of this stuff that you see behind me. So that's what's been going on. Tomorrow though, me and my OGV family, which is Operation Good Vibes, it's the DJ crew that I'm rocking with. We're all going to be in New York City tomorrow between 12 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. at Amsterdam Houses. That's a little
I know where they're at.
Yeah, the little housing project right behind Lincoln Center on 64th Street between Amsterdam Avenue and West End Avenue. That's where we're going to be at.
That's
right
the old black community that people forget about.
Yeah, that's my first home.
All the way up to Harlem. They got stuck over there in the 60s. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my first home. Both my parents came up in those projects. They met in those projects when they were toddlers. When they reached their teens, they ended up dating and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah,
So you're gonna be spending over there tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be the community reunion. It's gonna be like the block reunion. So we're all
Okay.
gonna be over there tomorrow. Me and the whole OGV crew.
You got a flyer you can throw in the chat
All
later on?
I'll see if I can throw one up. I just put one up in my IG and my Facebook.
Okay, got it. I'll get it.
Yeah, and
But,
if we get it down the Senate, we'll post it on the
Mhm.
Facebook page and the IG page. You know, Rhino, we were over there yesterday because right there where those projects is also the Alvin Ailey school.
Right.
Fordham. We were over there last night, right across in fact, we parked right across the street from that project last night in a parking lot. So, and my niece is actually in a summer program with Alvin Ailey. She's been dancing up there the last 2 nights. So Kim and I
had a cousin that
last
helped
night.
start the school. Her name is Joan Peters, dance legend.
Yeah, her name is on one of the buildings up there, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Rhino. So we want to tell my niece and all of them girls about that tomorrow. Maybe they all come over there and check you out, man.
Yeah, we'll be right there on 64th Street between.
What time is that?
Between 12 and 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, put the flyer up and we'll send it to them, man.
I'm getting it now.
We'll
I'm
post
getting
it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And also, and then because with this, I probably won't be able. I won't see you guys in time. But next week, Friday, the OGV brothers, we're going to be at Rock and Soul. That's 49 West 37th Street in Manhattan. That's Rock and Soul Records, the record store down there.
Okay.
You'll be DJing over there. That'll be next week, Friday. And I believe that's at 1 p.m. that will be there, between 1 and 4.
Okay.
Well, we're
doing a lot of stuff, man. Doing a lot of stuff. A lot of
Did you see did anybody see the clip I sent with Snoop in Paris and he's carrying a torch and somebody's like, Snoop, give us that crip walk. Give us that.
Oh yeah.
I heard he did that walk.
He did. He crip walked in Paris. I
Yeah.
was like, go ahead,
Yeah.
Snoop.
Only Snoop.
Yeah.
Snoop is
Well,
having.
listen, y'all, we out of time. So Zaid, I'm gonna let you, go ahead and we'll go around, let everybody say any final things they want to say.
2 things. Yesterday was the 32nd International Day of Women of African Descent. So for sisters globally, from Boston to Buenos Aires to London to Los Angeles, right on. Keep moving, lifting up our ancestors and doing that work. Today is the anniversary of the launch of the Cuban Revolution. It's another one that we won. They're still holding the line against the madness of the U.S. government trying to starve people to death. It ain't working, right? But Sunday, back to what we had most of the show about, we will be in the street, Lincoln Monument, 12 Springfield Avenue, 2 p.m. to honor Sonia Massey and all victims of police brutality. Justice for Sonia Massey. Stop police brutality. We'll see you in the road.
And we will be in solidarity with a number of other states, but more importantly, we will be in solidarity with Tamika Mallory and the Until Freedom team, right? So go ahead. Any final things you want to say, Rhino?
No, that's it, man. Just check us out tomorrow. Amsterdam Project, 64th Street between Amsterdam and West End, between 12 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. We'll be there, the OGV family. And then also check me Sunday. Anybody that's available for Sunday, I'll be on probably around 1 p.m. for another crate session. That's on Twitch, twitch.tv/RhinoCMZ.
All right.
Just a reminder, the Returning Citizens Group annual cookout tomorrow, July 27, 12 to 6, 32 Prince Street at the Greater Conservatory. And Chino said, they have been meeting for 4 years, and they meet on Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, that was right before. Remember we had that office in Orange?
Yes.
It was right before then.
And they were meeting in our office.
That's right. That's right.
And so for me, I think I just simply want to thank everybody that was on. We want to thank the disciples for coming through. Thank Reverend Councilwoman Roundtree. And of course, thanks Sister Balena, and of course, the leader Abdul Haqq or Muhammad couldn't make it to do the show tonight, but he was there in spirit. So we want to thank them. And then Zaid, we want to thank Bashir.
Yeah, Bashir came back through for a minute. Yeah. Got
So we
comfortable.
want to thank him. And before I forget, I want to also thank, and lift up, our co-host down from Austin. His fiance had surgery, so that's why he couldn't make it tonight. So want to lift up Ashley, and pray for her and believe God that all is well. And so we send our well wishes to her, and we'll continue to pray that all is well. Jai, who was the other people that was on at 7?
7 o'clock we had
Maya.
Shernaleria Eccles, and Demo had tech challenges, but we had his moment with him. And at 7:30 we had our folks in Alda with Maya Sakan and Tova Fry. Tova's I didn't want to embarrass her, but Tova's getting ready to turn 75.
Wow.
She's been throwing
At the
down.
end of August, like the last
she's been throwing down since the late 60s. She's been putting in some work and really radical work for a long time.
And still doing the work. Look.
That's right.
Yeah. And so we thank them, and we definitely want to thank Marquis for popping on. Right.
That's right.
All the way from Jamaica, even though he's occupied.
The place of Bob Marley, one love.
Yeah.
Out of many. One.
He's occupied for the wedding. Want to send him safe travels and good luck with the wedding down there. And we'll see when we come back. Don't nobody go nowhere because I want to talk to y'all offline. So we just want to say thank everybody for tuning in to All Politics Are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. We'll see y'all next week at the same time, same bad channel. And as my brother Zaid like to say, we'll see you where, Zaid?
We'll see you in the whirlwind.
Catch y'all in the whirlwind.
And you don't stop.
Peace.